Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams.
And welcome in, everybody, to another week of Inside Edge Primetime here on the InsideEdge Network. I'm your host, Eli Moon, but of course, to my right, your left, as always. How rude of me to not introduce my co-host, Chad Bryan. This is Inside Edge Primetime here on the InsideEdge Network, a very special edition of Inside Edge Primetime. We'll be with you from around, what time is 9:51 till about 11:30, and then hand off the baton to our program director and great friend, Anthony Alford, for midnight run a little early. So I joked with him earlier. I said it's 11:30 run with Anthony Alford.
It's not midnight run, so let's say, 11:30.
Yes.
I wouldn't know. I didn't get introduced. I'm not talking this show. I'm just going to be quiet. I'm sitting here.
All right, you want to run the intro again? I do it so well every time. Look, I got to be honest with you, Chad, and we're going to get into it. This is, again, a special edition because we're doing Cavs postgame. We're going to talk about the Cavaliers. For just tuning in, Cavaliers beat the Toronto Raptors 115-105, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. Chad, I got to be honest with you real quick, pal. It's been forever, it feels like, since I've seen you.
Yeah.
We did the show Thursday, and, it was a successful weekend. A great weekend for the network. Great weekend for the collective Lahele. We had shows out at Grog Shop and B-Side. Just a great weekend. But it feels like I haven't seen you in forever, pal. You
were even on the Cavs pregame show with us on Saturday, and it's still, it feels like it's wild.
That's how long the weekend was. It feels like that was even forever ago. just insane, bro. It feels like your beard's got a lot longer since.
It'll do that.
How you been, pal?
I'm trying to stay warm. I woke up this morning and there was. Am I allowed to say? Are we allowed to swear? There was snow on the ground.
No. No.
Sorry, I don't like to.
Yeah.
I don't say that too often live, like on air like this. But yeah, little snow on the ground. And it's not that it was a lot. It wasn't hard to deal with or anything. It was just shocking after it's been 80 a couple of times. You know what I mean? And not even shocking because we live in Northeast Ohio. We're ready for that. But I didn't want to see it this morning. So I put on the winter coat. I had it wasn't a good situation. So I let my beard grow out a little bit. Yeah, we're just trying to stay warm, man. Got to keep the face warm.
I love it.
Back to winter. We had 3 days of spring and now we're back to winter.
I love it. Well, hey, we will hopefully see some 70-degree weather here real soon. I think tomorrow or the next day. So we'll see what's going on. What's going on there. Now, let's talk about the Cavaliers here. That's why the people are tuned on in. Not that they don't love us, but they're tuned in because the Cavs, they are in full swing of the Cavaliers in the NBA playoffs here. Their run towards the first championship, hopefully, in 10 years, second in franchise history. And they're obviously trying to get going by defeating the Toronto Raptors in this first-round series. They are taking care of business and have done so at home. Both games, Cavs defeat the Raptors. First game in Game 1, 126-113. They defeat the Raptors 115-105 tonight. And Chad, I think really the big thing for me here is that the Cavaliers just have so much firepower that the Raptors are just outmatched. And I had talked about that during our Cavaliers postseason preview show, the playoff preview show. I had talked about how the Cavaliers are able to go, 10, 11 deep, really, at some point. And Tim Alcorn, the Cavs radio voice, had mentioned that during his interview with Anthony Alford on the preview show. So I think that's what really stood out to me is what he had mentioned and seeing it happen now in these first two games where they're not struggling. Last year you put out Ty Jerome, you put out these guys, and they just weren't able to really carry the weight. And it seems like this year Sam Merrill's stepping up a lot better. Jalen Tyson, I know we're going to see ups and downs. He's a second-year player, but he is definitely adding value to this rotation. Max Strus, thank you for coming back and rocking out, man. You have been amazing. I think this is really great for the Cavaliers. A series like this where they can experiment with different rosters or rotations, rather, and they can have Dean Wade showing that he can be an efficient defender and give you some front court size. it's really exciting to see so far, Chad. What are your thoughts so far after 2 games? And I guess more specifically in this game, if you want to add about the game 2 specifics.
Well, it's just something that when Donovan Mitchell and James Harden are playing the way that they did tonight, this team's going to be really, really hard to stop, especially with the defensive effort. I mean, holding Toronto to 105, and I know we all expected to see Emmanuel quickly tonight, and expected to see him kind of get out and maybe get the Toronto offense going a little bit. I mean, they're really not good in the half court offense. Again, that held true. You can see the Cavs don't really respect them as shooters. I mean, they don't come out at all. I mean, they're the big guys are down low. They got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen down protecting the rim. They don't really respect the Raptors as shooters at all. And it was funny, for all the talk about getting Brandon Ingram involved. I mean, I watched from the beginning, and that's all the discussion was early on was, how do we get Brandon Ingram involved? How do we get Ingram? Well, he's got to get himself involved. I mean, 7 points tonight, 7 points, 4 rebounds. Not really what the Raptors are expecting to get out of Ingram. And granted, he did take 15 shots. He's only hit 3 of them from the floor. So, they're going to need more from him. We don't want to see that, though, as Cavs fans. That's not what we want to see. I think the Cavs are doing a great job defensively. The intensity's there. The effort's there. They're hustling back. No transition, really. A few transition points, but nothing to really write home about. I mean, the Raptors led the league in the regular season. So, 4th ranked defense in the regular season too. And it's just really, nothing's going wrong right now. They're going to go to Toronto up 2-0. You feel pretty good about that, especially with the 2-2-1-1-1 format. Remember, it used to be the 2-3-2 back in the day, and especially in baseball, that was a weird thing, man. I mean, you'd be in the visit, as the team with the home advantage, man, you're in the visitor city for like a really long time playing away games. But that's okay. Yeah, it's a 2-2-1. You feel pretty good about it. You're going to go there, and like you said, you've got the opportunity to kind of mess with some rotations. I mean, if you drop 1 in Toronto, not the biggest deal. If you come home up 3-1, you're pretty happy about that. So, I think you've got a little bit of flexibility. This is what we wanted. This is what we talked about. We said we hope the Cavs go into Toronto up 2-0 because it's going to feel really bad if it's 1-1, especially if the Raptors had found a way to win game 1. You would have been going into game 2 like, this is a must win all of a sudden. And now you got to win both of them in Toronto, or you feel weird coming, we feel really, really, really good up 2-0 right now. Watching the offense do pretty much whatever they want is very pleasing right now to the eye for Cavs fans.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Mitchell, Harden looking really great. Mobley looking good so far. I mean, it's been really efficient offensively. And I think the Raptors are also on their side of things feeling it offensively with Emmanuel quickly in this series. I mean, he is somebody that really gets the ball moving. He's a 3-point threat. And he's somebody that the Raptors have relied on at points during this season. Not as their number one guy per se, but somebody that could definitely have some value to a playoff rotation. And not having or being there in Cleveland, playing these 2 games, I think the Raptors definitely felt that as well. So we'll kind of see if he's playing game 3, game 4. But you're right, Chad. I mean, this is what we wanted. 2-0 going into Toronto. Cavs have an opportunity to hopefully take 2 more. Take the 2 in Toronto and sweep the series. We'll keep an eye on it. I still think we go 5, and I don't mean to kind of put a bow on this series already, but I just feel, Chad, and maybe I eat my words, and that would not be the greatest thing ever because that would be a first round exit, and that's a different discussion. But I just think this is a 5-game series. I truly think this is just too much firepower from the Cavs. I think Toronto, they're not getting the production from Brandon Ingram, like you mentioned. Dean Wade is really been efficient on him as a defender, and he's just not getting it going. And he's going to have to score in Toronto. If the Raptors want any chance, he's going to have to score. They're going to have to get the same production out of Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett, if not a little bit more. And I don't know if they can provide that. I think they're giving it everything they really can, and I just think they understand. They're not going to admit it, but when you're on that court, I think they see that they are outmatched. Because when you go to those second units, I mentioned Strus, Merrill, Tyson, you see these guys, they're not skipping a beat. The offense doesn't drop off production-wise.
At all.
So I just think Toronto understands that they are in trouble right now because Ingram's not shooting well. They're missing quickly. There's a lot of things not going right for Toronto. And I don't know. I guess I'm looking ahead, and maybe, this is very unlike me. I'm never one to look ahead. But I'm looking ahead to the second round, and I'm curious to see if it's going to be Detroit or Orlando. That's where I'm at. I don't think Toronto is – I just don't – I think this series is over.
How about Detroit dropping that game 1? And listen, a couple of quick notes. Brandon Ingram, 7 points, 5 turnovers in tonight's game. And I don't know if you're a plus-minus guy. Eli, are you a plus-minus guy? Do you care about the plus-minus?
It depends. I mean, I think sometimes a little silly, but sometimes it shows value. Chad, what you got for me? Plus, minus, what we got?
Well, I'm looking at all the guys we want to be, Jared Allen, plus 18. James Harden, plus 14. Donovan Mitchell, plus 11. Dean Wade, plus 14. Brandon Ingram, minus 15. Scotty Barnes, minus 17. And RJ Barrett, minus 9. So, yeah, I mean, it's not great right now. If you're a Raptors fan, you have concerns for a team that thought they could, come in and listen, nothing wrong with the team being confident in themselves, right? That's fine.
Right.
But for a team that thought they could come in and compete with the Cavs and possibly even maybe, win in 6 or 7, it's not looking great for them. They're not getting the production. They're getting all kinds of turnovers, really not even any good looks in the half-court offense, and they're heading back home down 0-2. So,
yeah, and I'm curious to see, what Kenny Atkinson, does he get creative here in the next few games? Does he look at, obviously you don't want to mess around too much to where you jeopardize the series, but if you get up 3-0, game 4, you're going to experiment with a few different lineups and kind of see what works, what doesn't, at least get an idea, because the Cavs have that type of depth right now where they could really try out a few different lineups that could wreak havoc on the floor. So I'm excited to see, we still got Thomas Bryant that's, returning from injury. So there's an 11th guy on this Cavs roster that they're still going to add, another big. I mean, they're going to have Allen, Mobley, Wade, and Thomas Bryant out there. I just think him providing quality minutes last year for Indiana, that is something that I want to draw attention to. I think that's going to be a huge addition when he starts getting some minutes for this Cavaliers team in this postseason. I think he's going to provide a lot of value. So that's a thing to keep an eye out for, too. I don't think it's just the 11th guy on the rotation. I think it's a guy that's going to come in there, give you 12, 13 quality minutes and really make a difference. So I'm curious to see how that shapes out as well. I guess that would be what I'm most curious about with this series, because until Toronto shocks us, and maybe they do in Game 3, maybe they do, but we haven't seen them match when the Cavs go into that next gear.
At all. Yeah. And they can make a little run to get it back within 8 or 9, but they can't quite get over that hump. It's like it's almost like the Cavs take a little bit of a break in productivity, right? Just to kind of, okay, let's gather our legs, right? We're up 16. We're back. Oh, okay, we're only up 7 now. Let's kick it into another gear, and they kick it into that extra gear again. And they've been able to do that. I mean, maybe that's a dangerous way to live. I don't know if they're necessarily doing that on purpose, but I don't know whether it's Detroit or Orlando. I think something that you said, that you can throw a few different lineups out. If you do jump up 3-0, you can say, okay, well, if Detroit moves on in this series, this is a rotation that we might want to use. Let's play with this for a quarter and a half or whatever. Let's see how these guys, whatever. Let's see how they look in this lineup. If it's Orlando, whatever, you can kind of get a sense of what you want to do going forward. Whereas, if you jump down 0-2 or whatever, then you're scrambling to try to get back in the series, and you don't want that. So, yeah, I think the Cavs are in a really, really good position right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, pal. I agree. And we're going to talk a lot more Cavaliers when we return here. This is a very special edition of Inside Edge Network program. If you're just tuning in, that's Chad Bryan to my right, your left, who I so rudely skipped over in the intro to introduce myself first. A very Leo-like of me. Very Leo-like.
They know who I am, man.
Yeah, you're a big deal, pal. Chad Bryan, I'm Eli Moon. We're Inside Edge Primetime. We're going to do an hour of Cavs postgame here. So first hour, stay locked in. We're going to talk some Cavaliers, just this Raptors series, what to look forward to, the rest of the Eastern Conference, and kind of get an idea. There's a lot of very interesting matchups right now. You mentioned Orlando over Detroit right now, up 1-0. So we'll kind of keep an eye on those series as well. We'll talk about that. And then second hour, we'll dive into a lot more. We'll dive into the NFL. There were a few big moves and some other moves on the horizon potentially. And, of course, we'll talk the guards. It wasn't pretty today. So we'll talk guards, and we'll talk a whole lot more. And then we'll hand it off to Midnight Run with our program director, our guy, AA Anthony Alford. He will be unhinged for an hour. But it's 11:30 run on a very special edition of Midnight Run, and he'll run till, I believe, 12:30. I think he's going to be able to get to bed before 1, which is very rare for him nowadays. So we'll do that.
That's a midnight sprint. Yeah, that's actually, he's going to be a little winded.
I love it. Hey, I love it, pal. We are with you. So if you did the math on that, that's 3 hours of program. We're here 9:30-ish to 12:30-ish. All right? How's that sound? Go get your caffeine. Go get your dinner. This is Inside Edge Primetime, Inside Edge Network. This is Cleveland Cavaliers post-game coverage here on the Inside Edge Network. We're back after this.
Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee.
Hey, I got something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good-smelling home, AlleyRoseFragrances.com will make it happen. Again, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, InsideEdge20 is the promo code.
And welcome back to a special Cleveland Cavaliers post-game edition of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left, and I am Eli Moon, and I did it right this time. So with that being said, we're off to a good start this segment. We're back here on the Inside Edge Network, Chad and I kicking it back on a Monday, a very special Cavaliers victory Monday on Game 2 against Toronto Raptors in the first round series, as the Cavaliers defeat the Raptors 115-105. Big games by Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and Evan Mobley. Big games being Mitchell with 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. James Harden, 28 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals. And then Evan Mobley, 25 points and 8 rebounds, also had a block and 2 assists. So big games out of the Cavaliers, a big struggle out of Brandon Ingram, I believe 3 of 15 from the floor, 3 of 15 with 7 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Scotty Barnes, 26 points for the Raptors. RJ Barrett, 22 points and some production out of the bench. But I think the big story in this one, Chad, is really just the depth of the Cavaliers, and the star players of the Cavaliers are all out here playing pretty good basketball and showing why, when at full strength, we've been saying it all season, just wait till these Cavaliers get at full strength. Yeah. They could really, really make some noise in the Eastern Conference. And now everything we've said is starting to come to fruition. And it's been 2 games. We'll see how it looks. You know, they can make a deep run. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But so far, so good. And the offense has been good. I think the other thing, too, and I'm curious your thoughts, the defense. I'm not going to say they've been absolutely stellar defensively. I mean, they're still giving up around 115 points a game. But it's been a lot better than it was in January.
Yeah. Yeah, I assume you asked me about the defense. You went away for a second. You froze on my end.
Yes.
But,
hey, I'm back. Yes, the defense.
I'm glad to see you back. I wish I could have heard your question. But, yeah, no, I think I knew what you were going to say. No, yeah, the defensive intensity, I think, is there. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like you knew this team had the talent and the ability and the people on the roster to be able to play defense. But we've also been making a big deal of the fact that they still haven't even reached double digits with this new core 4, right, playing together. So still only 9 games into, Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley playing together. So I just think, they're still kind of filling each other out. I mean, hopefully this team's best basketball is yet to come. They're already playing pretty well offensively. It's nice when you start out, round one, first 2 games, and you're hitting shots and you're getting to the rim and you're pretty much doing, like I said earlier, whatever you want to do offensively. That's a great sign. But then on top of that, the defensive intensity is there. It really, I'm looking at the numbers for Toronto. RJ Barrett was the only one that was really all that efficient from the floor.
Right.
10 of 13 for 22 points. It feels like he's going to have a 35 or a 40-point effort, along with Brandon Ingram having a 25 or a 30-point night to really be able to win a game in this series right now. Anything can happen. I don't think that, I'm not necessarily saying the Cavs are going to go to Toronto and win 2 and the series is over, but it certainly could shake out that way. The way that they're playing defense right now, the way they're getting back in transition, the way they're knocking down shots, they're actually doing the little things. They're boxing out. They're getting rebounds. They're not getting beat on these effort plays and giving up, free possessions. So, yeah, it could shake out that way.
Now, I have another question here for you, and I'm just curious because the big topic here in Cleveland around the trade deadline was Darius Garland for James Harden. The trade that happened, we sent Darius Garland over to the Clippers. James Harden comes here to Cleveland. We know the NBA playoff history with James Harden, the NBA Finals in 2012 with the Oklahoma City Thunder, but he hasn't been back since. A lot of disappointing exits and kind of disappearing at times. We've kind of changed our tune very quickly once he's become a Cavalier, and obviously he's been fun to watch. He's had some really good games here as a Cavalier, but we're in the playoffs, and this is the conversation we're having. He's had 2 great games so far, and I am thrilled with the production, Chad.
Yeah.
So I'm curious your thoughts, on this question. How long do you trust James Harden in the playoffs? Because you see, it's been 14 years since he's been to the finals. He's only been to 1 in his NBA career.
Yeah.
He's never really been one of the leaders. I get he had a strong role on the Thunder team. I'm not diminishing that. But that was Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook's team. Then you had the co-stars, down the line of James Harden, and you had Serge Ibaka, but you haven't seen James Harden have to be the 1B or 1A, however you want to view it, on a team and lead them to an NBA championship. So 2 games in, he's been absolutely efficient, very impressive. I'm thrilled, and I'm trying to just be like, I'm not worried about the 14 years that have happened. I'm worried about this year. But then you look back and you're like, but as we get deeper into the playoffs, you just hope he doesn't disappear. How long until you trust James Harden in the playoffs here as a Cavalier?
Well, I don't know. I think you've got to give him a chance to break that trust before you can really worry about that. Sometimes we've seen it before. Guys, in every sport, right? You go to a new place and it's like, okay, new surroundings, new whatever. You feel rejuvenated, you feel refreshed, right? And just the way that he's fitting in right here with, not right here, but here, right exactly here in Cleveland. The way he's fitting in here with Donovan Mitchell and especially with, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley underneath, he's been really efficient with Jared Allen especially. But the way that he's fitting in, the way that he's not trying to take that, he's not trying to be the leading scorer. He really isn't. He's just distributing the ball. He shoots when necessary, sure. And he knocked down some crazy shots. That 3 as the shot clock expired early on was pretty wild out of him. But yeah, I don't know. I think you've got to give him a chance to break that trust before we really even can worry about that. He's just doing all the right things. He's saying all the right things. He seems to be very comfortable here. He wanted to come to Cleveland, felt like he had a chance to win a title with the Cavaliers. And it looks good so far. So I think you trust him until he breaks the trust. I don't know that that's necessarily around the corner. Who knows? Obviously, as they move on, the matchups are going to get tougher and tougher. But I just think right now they're playing so well that let's just watch and enjoy and see how they grow together. Still only 9 games together, not even double digits. That's wild for the new core. I don't know if I'll call them that. It's weird to say the new core. It makes you feel like we're just like Darius Garland's like, oh, all right. But, not his fault. He was hurt. But yeah, I think you just got to give him some time to kind of gel and mesh together and learn to just feel each other out a little bit on the floor. And I think, like I said, hopefully this team's best basketball is in front of them still.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tend to agree, and I want to trust James Harden. And right now I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because you're a Cavalier, and I'm rooting for the Cavs. Obviously, I'm a Cavs fan. We're here, Cleveland's digital leader, and obviously we want a championship, the first in 10 years. But I also just have to be a little wary because James Harden has looked phenomenal in first-round series. He's also disappeared in second or third round series, getting to the finals. And I just worry a little bit. And I know I just said this series is over and I'm curious to see what they look like, but that's why I'm shifting my focus. I personally, Eli Moon, this is my message. I'm not worried about the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
I think the Cavaliers are done with this series. I'm worried about how James Harden looks against the Boston Celtics, how he looks against the New York Knicks, if that's the matchup. Before that, a Detroit or Orlando series, which let's not forget that Orlando a few years ago gave the Cavs a tough time in that first round. It wasn't like it was a smooth series, and they have basically the entire same, like most of the same roster. So it's not really. I know they have a little bit of turmoil. It seems like going on in the locker room, with the head coach Jamal Mosley and the roster, but they took care of business, and they took care of business yesterday against the Detroit Pistons. So, with all that being said, bring it back to James Harden here. That's what I'm focusing on, is how is he going to look in his second round and a third round matchup. I tend to think it's going to look good. I agree with you, Chad. I think he's meshed pretty well here with Cleveland. The pick and roll and just the action there with Jared Allen, with Evan Mobley, with the bigs, and the backcourt dominance with Donovan Mitchell. It's there, and I feel good about it. But I also, maybe it's just being a little wary, just being aware that it's been 14 years since he's been in the finals, and as the leader, as being asked to be the leader, he hasn't got there. I just hope that he doesn't disappear against a New York Knicks team, a Boston team, a Detroit team. That's the only thing I will say, Chad. I think that's the only thing that could slow this Cavaliers team down. It's health, or is if James Harden disappears, because now you're asking Donovan Mitchell to carry a lot more of the load in the backcourt. Now you're asking more out of Sam Merrill and Jalen Tyson and Max Strus. And I'm not saying these guys aren't up for the challenge. No. But if James Harden isn't bringing that offensive production, that's the only thing I could see slowing this Cavaliers team down. I feel really good about them so far, though.
Well, and I think it's okay to think realistically. And I think all we've seen so far is how the dominoes fall with James Harden being productive and scoring and, doing not what he wants to, but doing a lot of things that he wants to do. And I think it's fair to wonder how they'll look against the team that doesn't have to get out and transition to score, that has, a decent half-court offense, that can hit some threes, that can turn up the intensity and also play a little bit of defense. And if Harden's not hitting the shots, I think it's fair to wonder where that backcourt scoring comes from. Is it, does Max Strus get hot? Does one of the other guys start hitting some threes? But I think that's fair. I think it's a lot of weight to put on Donovan Mitchell if Harden kind of does. I don't want to say shrink away, but if he's I don't know, not even shut down, but if he's just sort of handled by, one of these teams defensively, I think that's a fair way to think. I mean, the track record is the track record, right? It's there. So, I think it's fair to ask the question. I just think so far, so good. It's hard to tell what the future holds, but they seem to be, gelling pretty well. Let's give them time and see how they look going forward. I don't want to close the book on this series either, because you never know what can happen. Like I said, Toronto's a kind of a funky place to play, but it seems like the Cavaliers are physically, psychologically, pretty much in every way dominating so far. Even though they only won by 10 tonight, I felt like they won by more than that. It just never felt really close at all, I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, and I think it's just wild. I know we're going to go to break here in just a second, but I think it's just wild. We talk about Jared Allen and the lights are too bright comment. A few years ago, and then James Harden, in the track history we just talked about here for the last few moments. I think it's crazy to think that those are the two guys that have the most importance on this Cavaliers roster, I believe, in this. And
even together, like not just also together, like not just on the run, but together. The way that the way that Jared Allen plays off of James Harden's game, I think that's important to keep an eye on too. You're right.
Yeah, very, very important postseason for the Cavaliers, and one we hope is a very long ride. They win tonight against the Toronto Raptors, 115-105 in Cleveland. In Game 2, they're going to Canada. They're going to play Game 3 and Game 4 in Toronto, and hopefully try to bring both of those back with a victory. And Cavaliers, will keep an eye on that. We'll have pregame and postgame coverage here on the Inside Edge Network all week long. So make sure you follow Inside Edge Net. We appreciate you for choosing us as Cleveland's digital leader and your source of sports, entertainment, mental health conversations, and everything in between across the world. So we're just talking to you about everything. With that being said, we are going to talk about some other teams in the Eastern Conference and maybe a little bit of the Western Conference. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. We're going to discuss who has surprised us so far, some other matchups that have caught our eyes, and who can maybe make a run to the NBA Finals. So we'll keep an eye on all that. And then, of course, we'll
midnight run to the NBA Finals, Eli? A midnight run?
Maybe like an 11:30 run.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, awesome. And you're all good, buddy. And then we will get into a second hour of Primetime. That's right. We're going to give you 2 hours here of Inside Edge Primetime. We'll talk about the NFL in that second hour. We'll talk about Dexter Lawrence. He has a new home, and it's not great for the AFC North. And A.J. Brown might be on the move to the AFC as well. We'll keep an eye on all of that, talk about it, give our reaction, and then we'll hand the baton off to AA Anthony Alford for Midnight Run at 11:30 tonight for an hour of unhinged sports talk, and I'm sure we'll get a little WrestleMania reaction because I don't think AA was thrilled, Chad. I think he had a bad time. This weekend.
I think if you look at some of his reaction, I think maybe there was at least one night that might have disappointed him a little bit, Eli. I don't know. We'll hear about it, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's pretty disappointed, and I don't like to see my guy sad like that. So we'll talk to AA Anthony Alford a little bit later. He'll join the stream. He'll take the baton and take you to the finish line here. But we're not done. We're far from it. This is Inside Edge Primetime here in the Inside Edge Network. That's Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I'm Eli Moon. This is Inside Edge Primetime, a Cavaliers postgame edition for the first hour. And we're back to talk about the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference, and a little more Cavs after this.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Bryan and Eli Moon. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com. Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10.
And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. And I'm Eli Moon. And I went a little fast there. Caught you off guard there, Chad B.
That's all right.
That's right, pal. We are back here for a hour sprint of Cavaliers post-game coverage here on the Inside Edge Network. A reminder, we'll be with you all postseason long. So as the Cavs make their run to the finals, we hope they will be doing that. We'll be doing this, breaking down the pregame and postgame here on the Inside Edge Network. Make sure you follow along Inside Edge Net. Stay locked in here with us. Chad and I are with you on Inside Edge Primetime, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 11 p.m. And then, of course, we have Midnight Run right after us with Anthony Alford, usually midnight to 1 tonight, 11:30. So, yeah, a little early. I mean, I don't know what to expect with AA at 11:30. I guess I'm still trying to,
You never know.
figure
Is it
out.
more energy? I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure.
That's what I don't know. Usually I feel like he takes a nap before the show, so I think without his pregame nap.
Oh, it could be grumpy. That might be fun.
Everybody knows, nighttime hosts, we need our pre-show naps.
Yeah. Sometimes we never wake up from them. We just right on through.
So the Cavaliers win today, game 2, 115-105. Chad Bryan, Eli Moon here back. No, but we obviously have this game, this series. We've been talking about it, Chad. It feels like, and like I said, maybe I'm a little bit more on the it's just completely over series than you, but I just feel like unless Toronto shows us something different, which is Brandon Ingram stepping up, it's Emmanuel quickly actually being on the floor for the Raptors, I feel like this is a done deal. I mean, am I wrong to think that?
No, I mean, all signs point to that being where it's headed. I think the Cavs have, like I said, they've been physically dominant at times. I mean, the Raptors have played okay. I just don't think they have enough, steam to really to get a lead and hold on to it much past the first few minutes of the game. I mean, the Cavaliers have led pretty much wire to wire in both games. So, I think the Raptors are going to have to show something different. Brandon Ingram's got to get going. 3 for 15 with 7 points and 5 turnovers isn't really going to cut it. That's not going to – they're not going to win a game in the series if he keeps doing that.
Right.
He's got to do something. Having Emmanuel quickly out there, I think, to help, put together any semblance of whatever half-court offense that they may or may not have. They're just – they have no identity. I think they're just completely lost on offense right now. Unless they can get out on transition, which they haven't been able to, they look completely lost at times on the floor.
Yeah, and quickly provided a lot of value for the New York Knicks. He was obviously part of that trade over to the Raptors with R.J. Barrett. So, I mean, but he provided a lot of value there with the Knicks, and obviously would do the same for the Raptors. So they're missing them. They're missing them. So
for sure,
we'll keep an eye on that. Want to talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs here, Chad. I mean, it's been going on now for a weekend. We have had some games, a lot of blowouts when it comes to the top seeds, but also an upset. Orlando over Detroit in game 1. Does it feel like, hear me out, does it feel like Detroit really is a susceptible 1 seed because they don't really have surefire scorers? Tobias Harris tends to disappear every postseason. He has made so much money, and I'm not going to hate on somebody making their money, but he has made it off of the regular season.
Yeah.
He has made it off of no postseason success that has mattered past maybe a first-round series that has been productive. I just don't get it. You have Tobias Harris, you have Azar Thompson, you have these guys that really have not stepped up. I don't know if the Pistons have enough offense. Their defense is great. They have dogs on defense. Isaiah Stewart's going to give you quality minutes. Jalen Duren's going to give you quality minutes. I believe Jalen Duren's also up for most improved player of the year. So a guy that obviously has done a ton for the Pistons defensively, and he's going to give you that grit. But the Magic, and let's be clear here, the Magic are not the most offensively strong team. Yeah. I get they have Paulo Banchero. I get they have these guys, Wendell Carter, Jalen Suggs. I understand they have some mover and shakers when it comes to getting some points. But at the end of the day, the Magic are not the Boston Celtics. They are not the New York Knicks. They are not the Cleveland Cavaliers when it comes to the Eastern Conference.
No, yeah, it turns out they're the Orlando Magic. Yeah.
The for fact checking me. I appreciate you, pal. With that being said, I think if the Pistons are going to struggle with the Magic,
yeah,
how are they going to keep up with these other teams? You wonder how much the Cade Cunningham collapsed lung injury, him coming back, about a month and a half ago? I mean, really not too long ago. Yeah. Finishing the last stretch of the season and getting ready for this postseason. You wonder if he's still trying to get his legs under him. You wonder who's going to step up for Detroit and for the Magic, who going into the playing game, they were talking about the Magic having turmoil in their locker room. Yeah. Players not getting along with the coach. Just a lot of, okay, this team's probably getting ready for the offseason. They're, and here we are. They're 3 games away from going to the second round. And I don't know if Detroit has enough firepower. We talked about that with Toronto and Cleveland. I don't know if they have enough firepower to keep up with Orlando, which is crazy because Orlando is like on that second tier of teams. They aren't. There's a reason they were in the play-in. And I think it's so crazy. It also goes to this too, Chad, and I'm curious your thoughts. JB Bickerstaff, I've always stood on this. He is a great developmental coach. Yeah. He helped develop the core 4. I am grateful for his contributions to the Cavaliers. Yeah. And he's doing a great job with the Detroit Pistons, a young squad, something we've talked about, a young squad. He is not a coach that is going to take you to the finals. Heck, to the Eastern Conference Finals. He is yet to show you that he can do that. And I just don't think he's the guy that is going to... Here's the thing. With postseason matchups, not always, but at times it comes down to, can your coach find the right rotations, find the motivation, bring the motivation out of his players to win a series? There's series, the big talk about the Cavaliers and winning in 2016 was Ty Lue. Now, Ty Lue is a great coach, but one of his biggest strengths, and we've talked about it a little bit, Chad, is being able to be a player's coach, but also knowing, hey, I need more out of you. And I'm going to ask for more out of you. I'm not afraid to ask for it. And that can be the difference in a series, is just calling out the guys that need to produce more and asking how bad they want it. And JB Bickerstaff, he is great at developing young players, but he's not going to really challenge, in my opinion, we haven't seen it, challenge his guys to step up to a higher level. And he's not, respectfully, he's not the Greg Popovich of coaches, of the Phil Jackson. He's not toting 10 or 11 rings in this point in his career. So until we see it, I just am under the impression that JB Bickerstaff is a developmental coach. He will get the roster ready, and somebody will grab the baton, just like Double A is going to do right after us at 11:30 with Midnight Run.
We're a developmental show. Yeah, I think that's...
Well, that was a terrible... But exactly. And he's gonna hand it to the finish line. Exactly. Chad, that was almost a smooth comparison until you reminded us that we would also be...
we are the JB Bickerstaff show. No, don't do that.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, JB, JB's a great guy, man. He seems like a great guy. I don't know him.
Yeah.
I say he's a great guy. I don't know. He seems like a great guy. But right now, the Pistons look like a triple stack Baconator, right? It's the most expensive sandwich on the menu. But later on, it might give you some problems. That was terrible. But no, I think,
are you hungry?
Yes, you did it. You texted me. You said Wendy's, and I'm hungry. I don't know if I get the Baconator, by the way, though. Not ordering the Detroit Pistons of sandwiches. Sorry. Here's the thing about JB Bickerstaff. You said it. I mean, this is what we expect from JB Bickerstaff, right? Really, really good regular season defense. Okay, playoff defense. No offensive identity. No rotational. We don't really know what we just don't know. And man, I mean, it's the same story. I mean, the Pistons gave up 11 offensive rebounds to the Magic, 13 extra shots, right? You can't do that as a 1 seed. I mean, you can't do it in the playoffs, period. But as the 1 seed playing the 8, you have to take care. You have to gobble up rebounds, man, and you can't give second chances like that. It's all the same things that we got tired of here. Yeah. I know we got tired of it, but losing in the second round and not ramping it up after the postseason or after the regular season into the postseason, looking like the same old kind of lackadaisical team where everybody else ramps up to that playoff intensity level, right? And the Cavs just sort of stayed. I'm going to say they flatlined, but they just sort of stayed. They plateaued, 60, 75 games in or whatever, and they just stayed right there. There was nothing really changed, right? Nothing really got more intense. The effort didn't go. Now you've seen this year, I think the defensive effort go up. The Cavs, I mean, they've boxed out better, right? So I don't know if that's a Kenny Atkinson thing, but I mean, here are the Pistons doing the same things that we saw the Cavs do under JB Bickerstaff. And you just go, okay, well, same old, right? I mean, they won 60 games in the regular season. That's great. They're the 1 seed in the East, even better. But yeah, to come out and lose game 1 at home to the 8 seed, who, like you said, doesn't have a ton of offensive firepower. It's not like Orlando just outshot them and there's nothing they could do. They sealed their own fate. They gave up all the second chances. Those 11 offensive rebounds. That's terrible. You simply can't do that. You have to get a body on guys. You got to box out. Yes. And you have to, I think, ramp up the intensity a little bit. I mean, yeah, the defense was very, very good in the regular season. Not so good in the playoffs, especially when you give up all those second chances. So, kind of same old under JB Bickerstaff. Unfortunately, like I said, we liked him. You said it best. I mean, we appreciate all of his contributions. He definitely, I think, he helped to develop Evan Mobley into, what he's hopefully still becoming. I think Evan Mobley has some growing to do still. He's not going to get taller. That's not what I mean. But he's got some growing in his game to do, right? Hopefully, Kenny Atkinson can get him there. I don't know, but it's just the same old thing under JB Bickerstaff. It's what we saw here for a couple of years, and I don't want to say it doesn't surprise me. You want him, you want the guy to go on and you want. I don't want it to end badly for him. I have no ill will toward the guy, but we're just seeing same old, and it's like, we knew that. You know what I mean? And I think you even alluded to the Pistons could be in trouble in this first round. And I don't know if it was all on JB Bickerstaff or just the Pistons roster. The youth, the inexperience of the playoff inexperience, but it's all adding up, and it looks like it could be a problem.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. I'd rather see the Detroit – if I'm a Cavaliers fan, and I am, last time I checked, I'd rather see the Detroit – I'd rather see the Detroit Pistons than the Orlando Magic right now. And I know and I get people are going to go, whoa, because game 1? No, because if you look at the stylistic matchups, Orlando has size in the front court. They have Banchero, they have Wagner, they have these guys, Wendell Carter. They have a ton of guys that are going to be able to create some type of problem for the Cavaliers. They have Goga Badatse on the bench. I mean, they have guys that are going to be able to match up defensively and offensively with the front court of the Cavaliers. The Pistons, the reason I would not be worried about the Pistons, if I'm a Cavaliers fan, they have no backcourt partner that can keep up with Cade Cunningham's production. They have no guy that's going to go, I can give you 23 to 25 as well. Donovan Mitchell and James Harden had 58 combined points tonight.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that out of the Detroit Pistons backcourt. You're not. So as much as physical as Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart and those guys are going to get, I'm not worried about a Detroit Pistons team. I'd be more concerned about Orlando upsetting the Detroit Pistons in round 1 and having to match up with the Cavaliers, because I truly think that would be a grueling series. I think that would be a series that does go 6 or 7. I think that's a series where the Magic are like, okay, we're going to try to get a revenge for a few years ago. And this time it's going to be a little more special because the winner goes to the Eastern Conference Finals. That would be, out of the two teams, a team I don't want to see next round, the Orlando Magic.
And even if you get by them, I mean, it's physically, like you said, it's going to be grueling. It's going to be tough. And then you got to go on and face, whoever it is in the Eastern Conference Finals with, that physicality, all that, that game, with that 7-game series possibly under your belt. It wouldn't be ideal.
No, it wouldn't be. And Boston plays swarming defense, a lot of traps, a lot of, getting guys contained into the corner where they aren't really able to make any passes. And, that's a swarming defense. New York, very physical on the defensive side of the ball. It's just going to be interesting. The Cavs probably, at least Cavs fans, and I'd imagine if the Cavs had their way, they probably would rather see Detroit. It just the youth, the lack of a backcourt partner for Cade Cunningham, and you wonder, I mentioned it a little earlier, so you wonder about Cade Cunningham and his health, if he's still getting his wind back under him, and with everything just returning from that collapsed lung injury, so that's a pretty serious thing. It's cool that he is in the playoffs, so respect to him that, he's out there rocking and doing his thing, and he's also eligible for the NBA MVP, so we'll talk about that during primetime later on this week, who we think, we'll give our prediction on who we think the NBA MVP and some other awards as well will be, who the winners will be. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. We were going to talk a little bit more around the league, but the Pistons and the Magic, they took away the conversation because that is the reality, Cavs fans. If we think this Raptors series is over, which a lot of us are feeling that way after 2 very strong games in Cleveland and, a Game 3 victory all but seals the deal, the reality is either Detroit or Orlando. And that's what it comes down to. So that is our very Detroit-Orlando focused NBA playoff reaction. And that will put a bow on the first hour of Inside Edge Primetime. But don't fret. We're not going anywhere. We're back for another hour of Inside Edge Primetime. We're going to talk NFL when we return. Dexter Lawrence has a new home. And it's not Cleveland, but it is in Ohio. The Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll talk about Dexter Lawrence. We'll talk about A.J. Brown. There's rumors that he, after June 1st, might be a New England Patriot. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about a whole lot more here on Inside Edge Primetime. The Cavaliers post-game edition of Inside Edge Primetime has officially come to a close.
I thought you were going to say a screeching halt.
No, we're still rocking. This train just getting started.
Smoothly rolled into the stop sign. Yeah, I thought we did well.
Yeah, absolutely. We looked both ways and everything too, make sure everything was good. All right, perfect. Inside Edge Primetime, second hour. When we come back here on the Inside Edge Network, don't go anywhere.
The Inside Edge Network is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and athletes, to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We're talking NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Hockey League, the NCAA. I'm a wrestling guy as well. We got WWE apparel available too. It allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. It's right there in the corner of your screen. Get your official gear. Level up with us at fanatics.com.
Sometimes you just gotta let the intro ride a little bit, you know. It's so smooth. That's a Chad B beat for you. And he's over to my right, and that would mean he's over to your left. That's Chad Bryan. A Chad Bryan original being, oh my goodness, buddy. Chicken sandwich Chad. You're something, buddy. You're something.
Made me hungry.
I wouldn't rather... I don't know. I'm speechless. It's very rare on this show. I'm speechless.
Yeah, I think if we just look into the camera for the last half hour or so, I think we should be good.
Chicken sandwich Chad.
Kind of like
okay.
Nice right. To it. I gotta like it.
All right. With that being said, that's Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. This is the Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. If you're just tuning in, we had a full hour of Cavs post-game coverage. We'll be doing that. Various talent throughout the network will be covering pregame and postgame.
Yeah.
So you see from Chad and I, hopefully not too much more in this series. Hopefully we'll be talking around 2. But see us all postseason long as the Cavs keep rocking. We'll keep rocking with pre- and postgame coverage and all year round. And we're not going anywhere. We're just getting started. Thank you for choosing us as Cleveland's digital leader and your source of sports, entertainment, and mental health conversations. We truly, truly appreciate you and couldn't do it without you. So thank you if you're enjoying the coverage and enjoying the talks, and Chad and I just being us, then give us a follow at Inside Edge Net on all the socials.
Real quick, I'm glad you mentioned that we'd have some different talent, different, pregame, postgame things. I'm not the best at keeping a schedule. So I texted Eli, I think 2 or 3 different times today, and was like, hey, man, what time are we on and how long are we on? I have to be like, you physically prepare for the show. You want to know what the heck you're going to say. But I also had to be like psychologically prepared. I was like, this is why we don't go over an hour. You got chicken sandwich Chad down here. But this is why we normally get stopped at an hour. There's a reason for it. There's a method to the madness. But yeah, I texted you a couple of times, Eli, and I was like, man, I keep losing track, man, somehow. And it's like different, group texts and emails. I've lost the schedule. I have no idea where it is. I'm just like, whatever. I just constantly feel like I might possibly be late for something. It's a great feeling. I love the anxiety that brings. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I love this. This has been fun, man. The whole Cavs playoff. We got the draft coming up this week.
Yes.
We have just huge things on the network, and it's been a lot of fun, to be honest with you.
Yes, and we truly, truly appreciate you. Like I said, we really couldn't do this without you. Double A Anthony Alford preaches on it. He talks on it, but I mean, I'll preach on it, I suppose, that this is a grassroots, from the ground up. Just we are all working very hard to bring you something different, and I think that's what's truly, truly cool about that. Chad, I'm going to be honest, we're going to talk sports here in just a moment, folks. As you know, Chad and I can get off topic for a second. I'm going to take a second here, and I talked a little bit about this on Main Event with what I learned, but I think I've been really, really feeling the love from the community.
Yeah.
And I've been feeling just at times the energy, man. There's some positive vibes, and I think it was just so cool seeing all the reactions we had from WrestleMania and seeing from football stuff and everything like that. And I just want to say thank you again to everybody. We're going to talk some sports here in a minute, but again, thank you to everybody out there that tuned in all weekend long and supported us the last 6-7 months, or just along, tonight tuning on in. Thank you for choosing us, and we truly appreciate it. Just I'm feeling the love, Chad. I'm feeling the love, and you know who else is feeling the love? Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's feeling the love, and it's not.
Feeling the love from the Bengals right now.
Yeah, he's getting that Cincy love.
Yeah, not the Giants.
Not the Giants. And he wanted out for a minute there. He was not happy with the Giants, and he's obviously a force on the defensive line. Somebody that's going to add something to the Bengals that they haven't really had on defense. And that's a guy that they can look at and go, he can change a game. He can get a stop if we need to, And I think that's something interesting to look at. The Bengals have really had a tough time stopping any offense, and now that they have a guy that can get the opposing quarterbacks, I think this is an interesting move. I don't know if this will be the only move they make in the next week with the draft coming up on Thursday in terms of defense. I think they could maybe go defensive heavy on this draft and try to really add to that. I mean, offensively, you don't have too much to worry about if you're Cincinnati, Chad. You have Joe Burrow at quarterback. Running back Chase Brown had an electric year last year. You're looking at receivers Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I mean, they have the guys there to make, and they've shown it before. They've got to a Super Bowl before.
Yeah.
They have the offensive firepower to do this. It's always been the defense holding them back. So Dexter Lawrence, an absolute game changer, somebody that's going to come in and reinforce that defensive line. Now we see what the Bengals do in the draft. What does this mean for the Bengals? What does this mean for the AFC North?
The Bengals are going to have to find. They've got to find somebody to come off the edge and get to the quarterback as well. They can't. You can't pin all your hopes on Dexter Lawrence to get to the quarterback. From the middle. He's great against the right. He's a big guy, right? He's going to eat some blocks and he'll get to the quarterback a little bit if he's healthy. He had some injury concerns in New York. I think some of that could have. Maybe it was effort. If listen, if you're not happy, you don't always put in the full effort, right? He seems happier to be in Cincinnati, sign an extension. I mean, that's whatever. They're paying him. It's weird to see the Bengals. I don't even know if the Bengals knew they could give contracts to defensive players, but they did. So that's cool to see that they're aware of that. They finally read the rule book in the offseason and said, oh, we're allowed to pay those guys. They extended whatever. I don't know. I think the Bengals are going to have to find a lot for that defense. Their secondary is they've got some guys that put on helmets and shoulder pads back there, but they're not, like you said, man, they've just had trouble stopping any offense really. And they, Trey Hendrickson gone now. They have nothing off the edge really to speak of. So it can't fall on Dexter Lawrence. All that he's going to be a good run stopper, and he's going to get to the quarterback if he's healthy a little bit, but he's not going to give you, 18, 20 sacks or anything like that. So they're going to have to find somebody to come off the edge, or they're going to have to get really, really, really creative trying to get after the quarterback. But yeah, I would definitely concentrate on defense if I were the Bengals, and I'd do it quickly.
Yeah, and now for the Giants, they have the 5th and the 10th overall pick in the NFL draft.
Ooh.
It's interesting for the Browns, right? Because now the Giants, they kind of have their way where they could still end up with a Cardinal Tate, at number 5, and they could end up with an offensive lineman at number 10, go get a defensive player. It's interesting too. Right now,
they can do a lot of things. Yeah, 5 and 10, it gives them a lot of options.
And they're 2 picks ahead of the Dallas Cowboys right now. Their second pick. And that's an NFC East rival, a team that also now both teams needing a defensive star, somebody that at least can become one on the defensive line. So now it gets real interesting. What does this do for the Giants, Chad?
It gives them a lot of fun. I mean, there's a reason to watch the Giants in the draft now. Like, even if you're not a Giants fan, I think it's just going to be, it's interesting, right? Like, you got John Harbaugh in there. So brand new coaching staff, new philosophy, probably newish anyway. I don't think you're going to want to go in there and stir up too much on the offense. As long as everybody's healthy, the offense seemed to look, pretty good. But that being said, what do you do? I mean, do you go defense heavy? Do you go, I don't know. I mean, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, somebody at 5 and look for another defender at 10, or I brought up on Sundays, on the Sunday morning sports show, do they look for a guy like Kenyon Sadiq? I mean, I think he's an interesting kind of a really versatile guy that could, I feel like John Harbaugh. Well, he loves the 2 tight end thing. Anyway, you know that. He loves to go with two tight ends, and then to have one that's super athletic that you can put him in motion, spread him out, maybe you can. I mean, he can essentially run routes as a wide receiver. I think that's it's tough to pass up. I don't know what the Giants do. They just have so many options. I feel like I'm a little jealous of Giants fans all of a sudden, right? Like they've got hopefully Cam Scatteraboo coming back healthy. Jackson Dart looked amazing last year. He really took some steps forward that I didn't expect him to take right away. You've got Malik Neighbors that is going to come back. You've got some things that are exciting if you're a Giants fan. Now you've got 5-10. And it feels like because it's not the Browns, they won't mess that up, right? If the Browns had 5-10, I'd go, well, what are they going to do? They're going to, whatever, try to draft Brandon Whedon again or something. I don't know. It just feels like they're going to.
Yeah, but the Giants aren't necessarily free of making first-round blunders.
You've got a different coach in there now. You would hope that John Harbaugh would have some say coming in as a first-year head coach, and with the pedigree, the track record that he has. I mean, he's a winner, right? You would think that the front office would at least hey, how do we build this roster to help you win right away? I don't think they're just going to saddle him with a couple of guys because, hey, we like the way they interviewed or whatever. I think that he's going to have some he's earned some input in that whole situation, right?
1,000%. I mean, that organization is being run by John Harbaugh. Let's not get it twisted. That is his organization right now. So we'll see
I trust them. You know what I mean?
All right, fair enough. Well, we'll see how he puts his stamp on the New York Giants with this draft and see his first 2 selections as the
sure
Giants
to break our hearts as Browns fans. It'll be Carnell Tate and somebody else we want it to. Okay, great.
Hey, be careful what words are powerful. If you start speaking into existence,
yeah, let's not
powerful.
do that.
It's powerful.
Do I knock on wood? What do
I do? Find something, buddy.
Chicken sandwich?
I have a question for you before we get into A.J. Brown here. You brought up about knocking on wood and superstitions. AA Anthony Alford will be on here at 11:30 for a special edition of Midnight Run. We'll see if AA is taking a pre-show nap or maybe he's cooking dinner. But he'll be ready for 11:30. I'm ready. We talked earlier. We're ready to go. But I will tell you this. I have a question for you, just real quick.
Yeah.
I was thinking of this the other day, and maybe this. If you answer this quickly, with conviction, this question is pointless. I've got so many answers that have made me feel like this question sucks. Okay. I want to know what your thoughts are. All right. You pick up a 4-leaf clover, right?
Okay.
Boom. That's like good luck, right?
Yeah.
4-leaf clover. I mean, how often are you finding that?
Not very. Yeah.
Not very.
You don't throw that on the chicken sandwich. Yeah, no.
Black cat runs across as soon as you pick up the 4-leaf clover. Is that good luck or is that bad luck?
Does that just even out? I mean, which you have to find out. Okay, so maybe for the Tuesday top 5, we superstitious power, right? Like, so what's more powerful, finding the 4-leaf clover or seeing a lot of black cats out there, right?
Yeah,
I see black cats all the time. They've crossed my path. Nothing's really ever, nothing crazy ever happened. I don't know that I've ever found a 4-leaf clover, to be perfectly honest with you. So I feel like you're more likely to run into a black cat. What if you walk under a ladder and there's a 4-leaf clover that falls, you catch it, and then a black cat crosses? What happens then?
That's 2 negatives and a positive. So my math says that's bad luck, right?
Okay, so you jump and a mirror falls out of your pocket and that breaks, and you swallow your gum. Where are you at now?
What's that have to do with it?
Isn't that a thing? Oh no, that just stays in your stomach for 7 years. That was the old thing. That's not bad luck. Never mind.
But you know what could be bad luck, Chad?
Yeah.
And they've had their fair share of good luck, a Super Bowl. They've had their fair share of bad luck.
Browns.
This past season, not the Browns.
No.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, I know them. Yeah.
Adam Schefter was reporting and talking about that after June 1st, A.J. Brown could not be a Philadelphia Eagle anymore. He could be a New England Patriot. And this has been talked about, reported for months by various reporters about how could A.J. Brown, be out of Philadelphia. Is it New England? Where is it? And they've been the strongest suitor. It seems like they're going to make a move for him and complete this after June 1st. Is all the speculation. So we'll see if it goes through. But my question to you is the A.J. Brown saga over in Philadelphia?
Well, not until June 1st. Not until then. Maybe it seems like he's on his way out, right? I mean, I think when it's openly talked about, and he's, for all the disgruntled stuff, I mean, he found a way to put in a pretty decent effort. He's a professional, right? We know wide receivers sometimes have that little personality tick. Sometimes they just, something happens and they're checked out and that's it. They're done, right? There's no getting them back. So I'm not going to say they're divas. I wouldn't say that. I would never say that wide receivers are divas. I would never say that.
Here on the Inside Edge Prime Time, we do not. We have never once called a wide receiver a diva.
Not once. No.
Not once.
We've never seen
check the tape
from Antonio Brown or any other Odell Beckham Jr. We've never seen any strange behavior.
Well, the good news is we were, the network wasn't around when those guys were really rocking. So we have definitely not called any wide receivers divas to this point.
Yes, we have definitely not done that. That being said, they're a little bit different, right? And that's okay. I don't know. I feel like it's over. But like I said, not until June 1st. But yeah, it feels like he's on his way out. Will Mike Vrabel still be the head coach in New England? Will he be there on the sidelines at Foxborough? Is that a thing? That hasn't really been mentioned or addressed. I mean, I don't want to get too much into the whole thing with whatever. That's not really what we're talking about. But you just wonder. I mean, does that have any effect on anything going forward for the Patriots? I mean, it seems like it's just going to get swept right under the rug. No big deal on their end.
Yeah. And Chad, not to interrupt you, pal, but let's be real. The New England Patriots are a winning organization. They don't give a shit what's going on with Vrabel and Rossini. They don't give a shit.
No.
They see Mike Vrabel as a guy who just got them back to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to add A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
And they're going to continue to just move on. I mean, and it's sad. It's a sad reality. And we could spend more time on it later this week if we really want to.
Yeah. Well, we talked about J.B. Bickerstaff's track. Robert Kraft has a track record as well.
Right.
With the,
It's just ridiculous, that we haven't heard anything from Mike Vrabel. That's the only thing that kind of pisses me off is we've heard so much from Diane and Rossini, but we hear nothing from Vrabel. But like I said, maybe we can spend some time later on this week.
Yeah.
Really,
a lot of openness, honesty, and transparency from her, by the way. I think that's been almost refreshing. Now, people want to laugh because, you're saying too much, but we get irritated when somebody doesn't say enough. Like you just said, it irritates you that Vrabel hasn't said anything. Meanwhile, Rossini's on the other side of that, right? And it's just,
well, it's just like if you're here's the thing, if you're an NFL fan and you're a Patriots fan right now, and I guess the Patriots are a bad example because again, they probably don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But the example I would say is if you're an NFL fan and your coach has some sort of thing like this happen. Mm-hmm. And they don't speak, and now the next thing out of their mouth is about the next NFL draft player or whoever you picked or the AJ Brown trade. What if we don't hear from him until the AJ Brown trade is official if this does go through? I just think it's really poor taste. And sure, some people will say, well, he doesn't have to speak and he can keep his job. I get it, but as a leader of men, address the elephant in the room, man. It's like if I had ketchup or mustard on my face the entire show, I'd be pretty pissed off, Chad, because why didn't you tell me 2 minutes into this thing that I had ketchup or mustard on my face? And tonight I'm looking.
I was just thinking about chicken sandwiches. I didn't even notice, man. Yeah.
Yeah, chicken sandwich Chad for those wondering at home. But that frustrates me. But back to AJ Brown here, Chad. Yeah. Back to AJ Brown here. Can we spend some time later this week on Vrabel, in his situation? But AJ Brown, man, I think this could be what the New England Patriots could be missing, are missing. They are missing that alpha wide receiver one. We talked about the receiving core really playing well above expectations last year. Yeah. And Drake May had an MVP-like season. He didn't win it, but he had an MVP-like season, finishing runner-up to Matthew Stafford.
MVP and I think adjacent. Yeah.
I like that. Yes, thank you. Yeah. And AJ Brown gives not only New England an alpha wide receiver one, but a hungry alpha wide receiver one. Yeah. That is really right now, he doesn't have a lot of positive things being said about his name too. He's creating the drama in Philadelphia. And granted, he is speaking out a lot of times, but he's creating the drama. Is AJ Brown the right fit? He's the one who's a problem in the offense. He's whatever.
Yeah.
He goes somewhere where it's going to be a fresh start. It's going to be able to be part of a team that just went to the Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows how to get a team to the actual championship, holding up the Lombardi Trophy. So I do believe that is something that is almost a perfect match for real. And out of all the bad news the Patriots have had this offseason, that'd be the only good news is AJ Brown. AJ Brown could actually go there and be disgruntled as soon as he got there. It still would be the best news New England's had this entire offseason.
Yeah, I agree. And I think sometimes bringing in a guy who's disgruntled, I'll put up the air quotes. I think it's let's use a relationship as an example, right?
Yeah.
Someone, you have a relationship over here, and those people break up, right? Now, these people are going to get into another relationship at some point. So you're at that point, you're getting into a relationship with someone else's ex, right? And those problems, that was them. That doesn't matter, right? We can fix them. They can be fixed. It's no problem. They just need a change of scenery, right?
Yes.
There's all kinds of things I could say. Whatever. The examples are there, but I just feel like now it's new, right? And who knows? I mean, maybe the honeymoon period lasts 3 or 4 seasons. Maybe it only lasts 6 games. We don't know. But if it gives Drake May another weapon in the passing game, then in true New England style, who cares about their past? Who cares about anybody? Just get them here. We're winning football games, right? We're going to get to the Super Bowl. We're happy. Sure. Yeah, whatever. A.J. Brown could completely change that offense around. And we saw they ran into some issues later on in the season. I mean, they shut down, right? Couldn't move the football in the Super Bowl. So I think he could make a huge difference there. And, that's just somebody else's ex. I mean, everybody dates somebody's ex at some point. It's no big deal. It's going to happen. You just have to try to make it work, and whatever, both sides need to put in work and make it a nice, beautiful relationship. That's it. That's all I got.
That was amazing, pal.
That was amazing. We should have a dating show on here. We should have dating advice, right?
Well, good news, we know the program director. Maybe we can run it past him and see what we
just
can
get
do.
a lot of chicken sandwich. Chicken sandwiches keep everybody happy. So
Chicken Sandwich Chad here with your dating show on the Inside Edge Network. All right, we'll work on it. Folks.
Yeah,
all right, we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we are going to put a bow on this edition of Inside Edge Primetime, but I absolutely urge you.
You've been urged.
If you need unhinged content, you look no further. You stay here locked in, because at 11:30, I don't think you've ever seen more unhinged behavior at 11:30 than what we're about to see with Anthony Alford. It's Midnight Run at 11:30 with Anthony Alford. We'll get him on the stream. We'll merge. He'll take the handoff smoothly, just like a Cam Scadaboo handoff from Jackson Dart if you're a Giants fan or anybody out there. That's how we'll handle it. And then he'll talk about...
We're going to merge one card. Well, by the way, I'm 46 years old. We're going to merge one
bro. We get it. We get it.
Zipper style, one card at a time. Zipper style. We're going to merge safely.
Yeah. Chad.
Hey, is what it is.
I can't wait for you to respectfully. I can't wait for you to turn 47. I've heard you say you're 46 about 10 times in the last 3 days.
Much like AJ Brown in June, you'll get your wish. So it'll happen.
I'm so excited, buddy. June and July. We got back-to-back birthday months. All right. We're Inside Edge Primetime. We're running right up against it. When we come back, we're going to briefly talk about the Guardians. We're not going to hit the panic attack or panic button or anything like that. But we are going to discuss about the Astros kind of putting belt to ass to the Guardians today. And we'll talk about our final thoughts before we bring Double A Anthony Alford in. This is Inside Edge Primetime. This is the Inside Edge Network. We're getting unhinged already. He must be somewhere. Where are you, Double A?
Where are you? Bozo land, man. Where are you?
We're back after this.
All right. Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Bryan and Eli Moon. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at mossermomentsphotography.com.
We hope you're having a great time out there on your Monday evening, because we're having a ball. This is InsideEdge Primetime here on the InsideEdge Network. Chad Bryan to my right. That would be your left. Last time I checked, he's 46 years old. He's 46 years old. 46 years young, pal. Come on.
Oh, okay. Right.
46 years young. And he's never been better.
I don't know about that.
Listen, all right, we're working on it. I will tell you this. Chad, I'm not as worried about you as I was as the Guardians offense today. I wasn't as worried about you as I was about the Guardians pitching staff today.
Well, it depends on what you're asking us to do. I think context is key, but that's okay. I appreciate you. Yeah.
That's fair. Guardians, for those wondering at home, they do fall to the Astros today. Earlier today, they were defeated 9-2, and that's why I'd feel a little bit more confident about Chad Bryan than the Guardians today.
Yeah.
And all due respect to Chad, I think if we were having you out there and hit nowadays, I don't know if it'd be like the 20s, pal, but
slim chance.
yeah. But let's talk about the Guardians here for a minute, because it seems like right now, I'm trying to put my finger on it, right? Because yesterday we just talked about it. The St. Louis series, the series beforehand with Atlanta.
Yeah.
And now they bounce back after that, right? They have a strong series after that against Baltimore. Now this Houston series. I mean, first off, a tough stretch, and we've highlighted it across various networks. Double A's brought it up. We've talked about it here on Primetime, just about how tough this season starts off for the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
And the Astros, I get they're not the Astros of World Series glory, but they still are a formidable team, and a team that's, just really rocked the Guardians today. And I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I don't ever react over one game, but the offense today was a little rough, pal.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, you saw Jose Ramirez hit a couple of home runs the other night. I don't think it's again, like you said, it's one game. The baseball season is so long that, I mean, yeah, sure, you could really nitpick and find a way if they lose the division by one game, or if they're one game out of a wild card spot, you could go back and go, it's that April game against Houston. But I mean, I don't know. It's baseball. It happens. I mean, sometimes you get a team that comes in, like the Rockies are pretty consistently at in the basement of the division, right, in the NL West. Okay, they can come out every once in a while and they'll win a game 18-2. You're like, where'd that come from? And then they'll rip off 14 straight losses or something. It's just, baseball's weird. Baseball's a very humbling sport, and it'll let you know. Like, I think Double A says failing to prepare is preparing to fail, right? Sometimes you just come out and you don't have it, right? The legs aren't there, whatever. Mechanics are off. Sometimes you're not ready. It's hard to be up for 162 games. And even as a starting pitcher, you only get to go once every 5 or whatever. But sometimes you just don't have it. I mean, sometimes there's as a team, you come out, you're really fired up to pitch against them for whatever reason. Maybe they let you go, they traded you something. There's an emotional connection. And then your next time out, you're flat, right? You don't have that. It's just you can't be in the zone for 162 games as a player, right? It's going to happen. And sometimes in baseball, you see it's contagious. I mean, sometimes you get those clunkers and there's nothing you can do about it. You got to move on and go play tomorrow.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say, though, Chad, this is kind of an interesting stretch. We talked about this season early on. I think it's going to be an interesting stretch because you have teams coming up for the Guardians. Not only this Astros team that's 9-15 right now, and they're trying to turn around early. I mean, it's early enough where the teams can turn around, but you want to find some momentum. You don't want to be playing catch up in June or July. So the Astros, a team that are 9-15 now after tonight, they're going to be a team that's trying to obviously get their momentum in this series against Guardians. 2 more. You got tomorrow and then Wednesday. Then you got the Toronto Blue Jays, who are a team that was in the World Series last year, and they're trying to find their legs. And then you got Tampa Bay Rays, a team that's trying to find their legs. And then the Athletics. So I guess what I'm getting at here is there's a lot of teams right now. The Guardians went through the tough stretch of formidable World Series opponents, and you still group the Blue Jays in that. But right now they're in this grouping where these teams are trying to turn their Aprils around. So they're not playing catch up in June and July. So I mean, sometimes that could be a scarier opponent than the Dodgers in April. Teams that are fighting to turn it back around. So kind of keep an eye on that too.
Why are so many teams missing their legs? You have to ask that question, I think. Why are there so many teams that are missing their legs? That's weird. And then April showers bring May flowers, right? You struggle a little bit in April and things.
What does April hail bring?
A lot of insurance claims.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just insurance claims. That's it.
Yeah.
Roofing companies.
Yeah.
Window guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got some experience on the network about what hail brings. Well, we'll see if that's talked about in the most unhinged hour coming up here in just a moment. Chad, do you have any final thoughts? We'll talk Guardians more tomorrow. I'm sorry to anybody out there waiting for some more Guardians talk. We're going to give you just abbreviated tonight. We're right up against it. We want to get AA. He's ready. He is ready.
He's ready to go.
Yes, he is. He must have some W energy.
Texas, will you guys shut up and put me on the? He's like, stop.
He's like 11:30. You guys literally ran past. Like you might as well just like.
It's like this is why we cut you after 1 hour. This is why. My final thoughts are very Guardians related. I'll tell you what. We'll give you a little extra Guardians coverage. Travis Bazan over his last 8 games is 13 for 32. He finally hit his first home run down in Columbus in AAA. He's got 7 doubles, 5 walks in that time period. He's stolen 3 bases. So maybe some help is on the way.
I love it. My final thoughts are that it will be 70 degrees pretty much most of this week. I will continue to stress, get out and go for a walk, go find an open mic, go vibe out, go do something. There's so many cool stuff. There's so much cool stuff that happened this past weekend.
Yeah.
You had the Cavs in town. You had the Guardians rocking and rolling. You had a ton of music events. I was at the Grog Shop. Cliche was at B-Side. Saturday and Sunday we were rocking out there. You had the Vibe Boost. Shout out to Juice Man. He was doing the thing in the community, just arts and vending and all that cool stuff. Yeah. You also had just so many. Gutty Mac was doing an event out there. It was just so cool. A lot of great things out in the city. Go out and do something, man. Yeah. Go do something. Find some positivity. Go sit in some sunshine. My bro Omar, shout out Omar. He always yells at me. He's like, "Go get in some sunshine." I'm like, but that means I gotta come on. Get out and go get in the sunshine. All right, I'll listen, Omar, and everybody should listen to me because I'm listening to Omar. I'm going to get in some sunshine this week. It's going to be beautiful. With that being said, Chad, we are going to say farewell, so long, until tomorrow. But don't worry, after station identification and the greatest music at midnight, coming to 11:30, we have AA Anthony Alford, Midnight Run with Anthony Alford. But that's Chad Bryan. We're going to let him get to sleep, or maybe you'll stick around and watch us with all the viewers at home.
Very old.
46 years old, pal. That's Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. This is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. If you just tuned in, Cavs are winners, 115-105 over the Toronto Raptors. AA Anthony Alford will have some reaction on that. So much more. We're going to say farewell to Chad Bryan, but you stay tuned in. Go quickly, grab a cup of water, some caffeine. I don't know, maybe grab a bag of chips. Hopefully somebody has some popcorn from BA Sweeties. I mean, AA's been talking about it for weeks. All right, station identification, AA Anthony Alford after this.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
I told you we're off and running, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on in. Monday night. It is so great to have you guys with us. Double A here with you. And I'm 34 years old. I just want to throw that out there. It's great to be here. Man, we're in a much better spot than a lot of NBA teams right now. Cavaliers up 2-0 in their series against the Toronto Raptors. And honestly, to be frank, we're one big run from the Raptors. Because let's be real, they're going to come at a strong game 3. It's going to be back in Toronto. But one last fight away from moving on to round 2 of the NBA playoffs. And I'll put it to you this way. You'd probably rather be a Cavalier fan at this moment than a New York Knicks fan who let CJ McCollum and the Atlanta Hawks kind of come back and get the W and steal one in New York earlier today. But here's the big story out of tonight and in this playoff run so far. 2 games here. And here's the big story. Donovan Mitchell, 30 points. James Harden, 28 points. Evan Mobley, 25 points. And Jared Allen, he didn't have all the points or anything like that. If you look at the box score, you look at his impact, 10 points, 25 minutes of action. His plus minus was plus 18 out there. So Jared Allen coming through. Here's the truth. Here's the scary truth about the Cavs against non-elite teams. This is the 9th time this season that Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, James Harden, and Jared Allen have played together on the floor. In game 1, if you recall, 46 out of the 48 minutes, the first 46 minutes, one of those 4 guys was on the floor at some point during the first 46 minutes of that game. And I'm sure that stat kind of holds true here in game 2. These 4 guys, talent-wise, I'll put these 4 up against anybody in the league. Talent-wise, I'll put these 4 up against anybody in the league. You finally have size in your backcourt. There's a difference. I don't want to throw strays at Darius Garland, but the small backcourt, that was a fantasy that the Portland Trail Blazers try to bestow upon us and say, this could be the new NBA. F that. James Harden, 6'5", absolute difference makers. The Toronto Raptors can no longer run gimmicks on defense guarding our guys. Talent-wise, we're that good, and we have the strength. Now, I'm sitting here okay, why are you overly excited? It's a first-round series against the Toronto Raptors. You know what? You got to build some confidence. Build some confidence. Actually go into these playoffs with momentum. And finally, and let's be clear about this. This is different from the Miami series a year ago. That Miami team, they were an 8th seed. They honestly had no business in the playoffs, and we kind of sleepwalked our way through that first round. Here, this is the best team the Cavaliers have presented out on the floor. This team right here, since I would say the 2017 Cavs. I think they're that good, talent-wise. Now, was this tonight a flawless game? Absolutely not. Of course, the Raptors made a couple late runs in the second half, particularly in that third quarter. That's something to keep track of. If the Raptors, if they were more of a threat from downtown, then the perimeter defense for the Cavaliers, that's something to keep in mind. But man, it's there for you. It's right there for the taking. And I again go back that this is only the 9th time the core 4 has started together, healthy, ready to go. I mean, and if you look at the minutes, Donovan Mitchell, 37 minutes. Evan Mobley, 33 minutes. James Harden, 35 minutes. Jared Allen, 25 minutes. And I'll also point out, we talked about, our interview with Tim Alcorn. We'll actually replay that for you coming up at 12:30. We'll have that for you because Tim Alcorn talked about it. Myself and Eli Moon. It's like, how's the rotation going to look? I know traditionally in the playoffs, you shorten up the rotation. You have to as playoffs, right? Let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys play tonight. 10 guys. Sam Merrill, Dennis Schroeder, Keon Ellis, Max Strus, Jalen Tyson. Which, by the way, I mentioned Max Strus. Look who entered the game. That fourth quarter stretch. Hit a big three-pointer. 2 for 4 from downtown Max Strus. That lineup could do some damage against other teams in the playoffs. I did find some sound right before I came on the air. This is going to be kind of drive-by here, Eli. It is. You might have to copy it over. It might be on the other page. So we'll briefly switch over. It is Raptors 01. It's their head coach. And this is kind of funny. Take a listen to what he had to say. Take a listen.
Cleveland is very playing with a lot of physicality. They're very prideful of their physicality, and their whole team is very, very physical with Brendan. So for me, it's very interesting that he had 0 free throws in this game. That's kind of like, very interesting, seeing 0 take, 0 make. It's interesting.
Shut your punk ass up. Stop it. Brandon Ingram, all I heard Sunday night, going into Monday, I heard from him. I'm coming out and letting loose on Monday night. I'm coming out and delivering. If I didn't know any better, I would think he was about to be in the main event of Monday Night Raw tonight. I'm coming out and delivering. Guns blazing. I'm about to show the Cavs. I'm about to put it on the table. Who has the biggest one? I'm going to put it on the table. 7 points. Brandon Ingram, 7 points. Heard a lot about this young man. I've been told you got to watch out for this kid. Watch out for this kid. I've been told by everyone, watch out for this kid. 7 points. Folks, it ain't over. Game 3's on Thursday. We're going to do a special edition of this show Thursday night after draft coverage. It ain't over. But this is why this is so important with the core 4 being able to show up, because on the road players are not the ones that typically are elite. But I'm looking at, again, our core 4, 10, or this is only the 9th game they've played together. Thursday will be game 10 that these guys are together. I often have this question every year. Even a year when we won the NBA title in 2016, or the year that we did not win the NBA title in 2015. Does the best team win the NBA championship, or the healthiest team win the NBA title? Now, I don't know if there's such thing as luck. I don't believe that. I don't believe that you should just settle into a seed and let the chips fall where they may, right? For all we know, up until the final night of the regular season, the 5th seeded team should have been the Atlanta Hawks. So I don't buy into this whole fall for a seed, because if you didn't know any better, the Raptors could have been a 6th seed facing the New York Knicks. And the Knicks may have have some, a couple easier games, or at least game 2 easier. Game 1, all blowouts. All blowouts game 1. But, we got some more interesting competition. In fact, actually, I thought Denver, Minnesota, I was keeping an eye on Denver, Minnesota while Eli and Chad were on, and Denver had like a 20-point lead, and now they're only up by 1. Actually, Minnesota took the lead briefly and it's back and forth. So we got more competitive games tonight. Welcome to the playoffs. But don't look now, ladies and gentlemen. Don't look now. Cavaliers can handle business on Thursday, and then game 4 is Sunday afternoon. If they can handle business, you feeling good about the Detroit Pistons moving on to round 2 right now? Could be a Cleveland-Orlando rematch in round 2. I'm not celebrating that. I mean, that bring back those memories from last season, but we are bringing a different team. I feel really good about where we're at with the Cavs, and let's see what happens. Let's bring Eli back on. Eli's been going the distance here tonight. Thank you for going the distance, Eli. First off, how old are you, Eli?
I am 28.
Okay,
and I'll be 29 in July.
Okay, sorry, I had to. And if you've been watching all night, you know why. Sorry, Chad.
He was unhinged tonight.
Yes, he was. That was unhinged. All right, you had a couple hours. You've been on the air, but you had a couple hours to kind of sit through, not just, game 2 tonight. We had game 1 on Saturday, but I don't know. Should I feel guilty for feeling this good about this Cavalier team right now?
Oh no, you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't, bro. If you just tuned in, welcome. This is Midnight Run with Anthony Alford. I'm Eli Moon. I produce the show, and this is our coverage of the Cavs post game. We've been doing it all night long, and if you heard me at the beginning, you would know, and you tell the person just tuning in, hey, dude, he's been saying it for 2 hours. This Toronto series is over. It's over. You can clip it 100 times. The Toronto Raptors series is over. There is no reason to worry about the Raptors. And AA, we should have smiles on our face. You should find whatever Cavaliers gear you can wear. You should put it on tomorrow morning. And you should feel good about being a Cavs fan. You should feel good that the Cavaliers, Core 4, or whatever rendition you want to call it, is playing good basketball. You should feel good that the depth of this team is absolutely light years better than what it was last year. And you should feel good that we just might get a Detroit team that just escapes Orlando and is waiting for the Cavaliers in round 2. Now, my thing is, I think it is going to be Orlando that wins that series. And that's the worst case scenario for the Cavaliers, if there's a worst case scenario in round 2. They have way more size than the Detroit Pistons, and they would match up pretty well there, and it'd be a physical series. It would be the worst case scenario because that's a 6 or 7 game series, AA. That is a series where the Cavaliers like, damn, and then we got to go play Boston or New York. I think the ideal situation is Detroit somehow makes this happen. They find enough offensive firepower because that's been the biggest question. It's not their defense. It's who's going to score. Mm-hmm. And, right now it's Cade Cunningham, and then you're hoping Tobias Harris can bring some regular season Tobias Harris, but it's just not happening. And back to my point is if Detroit can win this series, that is the best case because you get J.B. Bickerstaff, who doesn't seem to know how to coach big playoff series, mixed with a team that's young and doesn't have a second guy to look to. I think it would be blouses. I think if you're feeling good now, I'm almost like afraid to see how good you'd be feeling in a round from now because give us Detroit. That would be the best case scenario here in Cleveland.
Real quick on Bickerstaff. You can stay on the screen for 2 seconds. Quick on Bickerstaff. It almost feels like, man, and I heard you guys are spot on about developmental coach, and then at this stage, you almost kind of treat it like the transition from Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr. Yeah. It seems like to me like Bickerstaff does not make the necessary adjustments in the playoffs that he needs to make. I mean, it's always this. I respect the grittiness and play hard defensively, but it's almost like, if you want to use a football term, it's almost like watching Kevin Stefanski trying to coach in a very limited path to victory, if I'm making any sense.
No, you are. And it's like, I don't understand the minutes like that he's dispersing. You have Kevin Herter there too, a 3-point shooter. You have Duncan Robinson you went out, and acquired. These guys that you would think would be getting more minutes, but they're really not getting enough play on the court to impact the game. And maybe it's because Bickerstaff doesn't trust Herter, whatever. He didn't really even attempt a lot of shots against Orlando. He was 1 of 3 and 1 of 2 from 3 in 18 minutes. You look at Duncan Robinson, 26 minutes, 9 points, 3 of 6 from 3. So, I mean, he got a little bit of play there. But I still think he should be getting more minutes. I still think Kevin Herter should probably get a little bit more on the court. I mean, you need guys to score. And if there's one thing for sure that Kevin Herter is going to do, is going to shoot the 3 ball. And you got to give him an opportunity to do that. Duncan Robinson, the same thing. Detroit's in some trouble. They thought their biggest problem was Cade Cunningham not coming back from injury. The biggest problem is they didn't figure out anybody else to score in that time.
True. Very true. Very true. So hopefully, see what happens in that other series. I mean, for all we know, Detroit can still win that at 5. But they're going to have to work for it. I believe their game 2 is tomorrow or Wednesday, one of those 2 days. They'll be actually Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday because tomorrow you got Philadelphia and Boston. And then 2 of the Western Conference series will face off tomorrow. I think Portland and San Antonio. And I believe Rockets and Lakers is the other game too. All right, cool. I did that off of the dome. Thank you, Eli. Thank you for the confirmation. I feel you're in a good spot with this series. We'll talk other stuff here momentarily after the break. You're in a good spot if you're a Cavs fan, if you're Kenny Atkinson. Because, again, we'll replay our Tim Alcorn interview coming up at 12:30. If you did not hear Tim Alcorn on our Cavs preview show, Tim and I had a great conversation talking about this exact point about the playoff rotations. You're at a great spot because now, no disrespect to the Raptors. Raptors are going to come out strong game 3. They will. They're going to come out strong. They're at home. Some of their guys, they're going to show up. You're going to have to overcome adversity. I hate to say this. You might lose game 3, but, don't buy into that. But you're in a spot right now where you are almost treating a playoff series like additional practice sessions, where you can see which rotations work. You can see, bench-wise, all right, which lineups work here, which lineups don't work here. And maybe you can trot out, are you going to utilize more balanced scoring like you have been seeing with the core 4? Or is game 3 a type of game where Jared Allen, only tonight had 10 points. Maybe game 3 is a Jared Allen type ball game, and with the game plan. And you force feed Jared Allen, and maybe he gets 35 or 40 points. I mean, who knows? But you're at a point right now you can utilize the rest of this series to kind of figure out what kind of looks you want to see going forward against Detroit or Orlando or Boston or New York. I'll give props to Atlanta. They might go deep. You want to utilize that. So, again, great W for the Cavaliers. Game 2, they are a winner today. We're going to talk. This is the Super Bowl of this team. It's the Super Bowl of this team. We're going to talk some draft. I'm going to be honest. I kind of avoided a lot of draft stuff other than the stuff we offer here on the Inside Edge Network, the Commissioner's Couch. And, in fact, they will be leading our Night 1 draft coverage coming up Thursday night, 7:45, right here on the Inside Edge Network. They'll take you right through Night 1 of the draft. A lot of fun stuff. Got some giveaways during the broadcast as well. So they'll get you set and ready to go. Something that, Ryan Mosser, David Calhoun will lead our coverage. Chad Bryan will be our executive producer for that broadcast. When we come back from break, something that Ryan said, and it's not his fault. I'm not blaming him. But if I'm just dropping in, which I am on Draft Talk, and I see this mock draft, I might lose it. Anthony Alford, this is Midnight Run. We'll take a quick break. Glad you're with us here on a busy Monday night here on the Inside Edge Network. Glad you're with us. Hey, I got something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good smelling home, AlleyRoseFragrances.com will make it happen. Again, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, InsideEdge20 is the promo code. Okay, let me explain what happened. Let me explain. This is all my fault. For once, I can't blame Eli for nothing. So because we're doing this combined broadcast, I loaded in sound to the other show that we're actually going to play later in the show. It's Ariel Helwani. We're going to play that later in the show. I did not realize during the commercial break that in order for me to grab that sound from that studio, that I wasn't allowed to switch over because that would have interrupted our commercials. It interrupted our commercials, and that was it. So Eli behind the scenes will be fixing my stuff. Oh, that was my heater. I thought the rest of my apartment was falling apart too. Eli behind the scenes will be fixing my stuff and getting that Ariel Helwani sound coming up later in the show. We're going to talk draft right now, and when Eli is situated, this segment, there's sound that we're going to play in just a little bit, but Eli has to get situated. But let me set it up. I have not kept track of the NFL draft, again, except for Ryan Mosser and David Calhoun. And by the way, let me reset real quick because it's 12:01. Some of you might be wondering what the heck is going on if you're just dropping in. It is Midnight Run here on the InsideEdge Network. We've been with you all night, but if you're just dropping in, welcome. Cavaliers winning game 2 against the Raptors. We talked about that earlier, really throughout the night. But it's draft time, and this is – there's so much going on in these last couple of weeks. This has been a busy, busy sports weekend, sports month. I feel bad because, like, tomorrow I'm going to watch the Guardians with full intent. I'm going to watch the Guardians. I'm going to watch the Guardians, okay? Because that's the third TV. I haven't been able to check them out. But the draft. I know people who are smarter than me have kept full track of the draft. And where you're at right now at the NFL draft, you almost wish the NFL draft could happen the day after the Super Bowl. Right? I know that would never happen. That defeats the purpose of what the NFL draft is, which is what everything the NFL does is for entertainment, is for talk, is for discussion. A lot of what our podcast and sports talk radio and sports talk television, it's all circling around the NFL draft. So I get it. I'm busting chops from that standpoint, but my mindset, I'm like, man, I wish the draft was the day after the Super Bowl. That would be nice. But it ain't. And so I have said I have been in lockstep. I think Eli has mentioned on the network and others have mentioned it. We need the Cleveland Browns need that elite receiver, that dog out there for Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson. They need, I know I had to say it. It's like a legal disclaimer. I had to say his name. He ain't like Joe Hendry. I proudly say his name and he appears. I don't want to say Deshaun Watson's name because he might appear too. But legally, I have to say his name. The Browns need that elite receiver. So, Eli, give me a thumbs up if you have it. If you don't worry about it. Okay, you do. Thank you. And I promise Eli I will not touch anything else for the rest of the night so he can go to the bathroom after this break. This segment. I'll even walk away. Ryan Mosser, again, Commissioner's Couch. And for those who don't know, by the way, Commissioner's Couch is our fantasy football show, which airs every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And, again, they'll have draft coverage starting at 7:45. Ryan Mosser, who, by the way, owns Mosser's Moments Photography, one of our network sponsors, and his best friend and co-host, David Calhoun, they analyze and have done draft studying, not based off of interviews, not based off of media hype, but actual checklist things that teams are legitimately looking for and that will actually lead to success in the NFL. So, with that being said, here's what Ryan Mosser had to say when he put out his mock draft Sunday on the Sunday morning sports show here on the Inside Edge Network. Take a look.
I think it's an absolute slam dunk pick and incredible value after trading back, especially getting the position of need, probably debatably the top position of need for this Browns team. This is probably my dream scenario. I didn't expect my top left tackle in the entire class to still be there. As much as I like Monroe Freeling, there's still a lot of questions in this game. I don't have many for Caleb Lohman, man. He's my left tackle one because I think he's the cleanest, most technically polished, most NFL-ready blindside protector in this class. He's not the biggest, not the flashiest, trait monster, but he's the guy I trust, the most to walk into the NFL building and stabilize the position where the Browns desperately need to fix. This is exactly the type of pick that makes, trading back worth it, I think. And like I said, I added a second this year, added a second next year, and still walked away with, I think, the best left tackle on my board, and that's how you win drafts. I love Lomu because he plays the position like a veteran. His game is built on balance, on posture, hand timing, recovery, not chaos, not panic, not guessing. Utah put him on an island consistently, and he handled it with a level of control and consistency that translates immediately to the NFL. I think he's one of the best technicians in the class. He understands leverage, understands angles, understands how to present a picture to a pass rusher that dictates the rep. He's not necessarily raw traits bet, but he's polished, he's reliable. He's a high floor blindside protector with room to add strength and still climb.
Now, I'm going to tell you that for once, I don't have to give courtesy. That's our audio. That's our video. But I'll do it anyway. Inside Edge Network, Sunday morning sports show. Ryan Mosser, along with his co-host, TK Dandridge and Chad Bryan. You can watch that every Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. In fact, watch this Sunday because they'll have draft reaction. Plus, they'll lead you into what should be the Cavaliers' final game of the first-round series against the Toronto Raptors, Game 4. Okay, here's why I trust what Ryan has to say. This is why Ryan is leading our draft coverage and not me. That's detailed analysis. Detailed stuff, laying out what needs to be laid out. But here's the truth. I know the Browns need a left tackle. And here's where let me say this point first, then I have a follow-up. I know the Browns need a left tackle. It doesn't excite me. And the prospect of trading back, in that mock that Eli, come on the screen for 2 seconds. In that mock that Ryan had, was our first pick number 13?
Let me see here.
Let me look here on our screen.
Yeah, 13.
13. And I know we've been hearing rumors about I think Mel Kiper and others had, a lot of people had like the Dallas Cowboys trading up to get 6, and then, we trade back.
Yeah.
I think when I hear Eli trading back, even if it's for a good reason like Ryan laid out, when I hear trading back, I want to pull my hair because I'm like, wait a minute. You're there at 6 for a reason. Get the best effing talent available there at 6. That's just me. Do you feel the same way, or if someone is in the room explaining this, breaking this down like Ryan is breaking down? I'm not disagreeing with what Ryan is putting down. I trust this. He's the scout of our network. I trust what he puts down. But as a fan, just dropping in, you might pull your hair if you hear we're going to trade back from 6.
All right, bro. I've done some thinking. You would have asked Eli Moon 3 weeks ago. I would have said, don't do it. Just stay at 6. Figure it out. Make the pick. And then the talk on Jordan Tyson came around on his toughness and his health. And he very quickly, it seems, went from being in the 5-6 category, top 10, to maybe just outside of the top 10 AA, which is where the Dallas Cowboys would sit. And the Dallas Cowboys need a defensive end or a safety or somebody to impact that defense. So the only way I'd be okay with the Cleveland Browns trading down is if the plan was to get into a position where you still could acquire Jordan Tyson, draft Jordan Tyson, address that wide receiver 1 need, but then your next pick at 20, because you have to get 12 and 20 from the Cowboys. That's a non-negotiable. If you are trading 6, you have to get both, and maybe more. You get 20, you go and get the best lineman you feel at that point, which Ryan's done a great job here on the network, just covering that this lineman class is pretty deep. So you can get a guy at 20, and then 24, you know what, Andrew Berry? It's up to you, buddy. I mean, they're all up to you, but really, I won't be mad. Whatever you do, lineman, if you want to go grab an edge rusher, whatever you want to do. As long as you address getting one of the top 2 receivers in this class, and you get a good lineman, then that's okay. Then that's a success to start off night 1 of the NFL draft. And that's what you need. You have to end up with Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson. It is so imperative. The Browns and Andrew Berry have shown AA, and we've talked about it for months now. Andrew Berry has shown that he is very bad at drafting wide receivers. In fact, he's actually just bad at scouting them, finding them, trading for them, whatever. It don't work. The only one that I can really think of is Amari Cooper.
And that was like a cheap deal. That was like a,
as far as
you found a good, decent vehicle from a Carfax lot. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as recent Amari Cooper, and exactly. So I don't trust Andrew Berry taking one of these 3 to 6, ranked wide receivers coming into the draft and taking a chance and loving the potential. I'm over it. If it's not Tate or Tyson, it's going to be a tough time getting me excited about this offense. And I love Shador. I think Shador could really make an improvement in the second season, but it's pretty tough for anybody, any quarterback, to go out there and throw the football to the wide receiver room we have right now and expect great results. I think it is asking so much out of somebody, any quarterback, whoever's out there. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, all due respect, is a wide receiver 2 at best. At best. If he plays lights out, he is a wide receiver 2. So I don't understand why. I'm with you. They can't go lineman at 6. They can't. If they stay at 6, it has to be. If Carnell Tate's not on the board, then you get out of 6. Cliche was on Inside Edge Primetime talking with Chad and I last week, and he talked about, if Carnell Tate's not there, trade down from 6. And I'm in that agreement. Me and the bro have talked. I'm in that agreement where if you can get Tyson still, then make the move. But if you feel Tyson's going to go, then stay at 6 and figure it out. And maybe that is lineman, I guess, but to your point, it's not sexy. Nobody wants to, but maybe sexy isn't what we need. Last year we thought we wanted sexy. We got Mason Graham, and guess what? It worked out pretty well.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I thought he did a great job with you on Primetime last week, and Ryan Lane. You guys did a great job.
Yes. Oh my goodness, great.
I think to your point, I think we played Peter Schrager last week on our show. He was on McAfee, and he mentioned there's going to be a point in the first round where you're going to get a run of receivers drafted.
Yep.
Now, again, we have seen that, jokingly, we've seen that in fantasy football, where once somebody picks a position, you almost look at your board and say, oh, crap. Okay, I got to get him right now. The key for Andrew Berry and for the Brown staff, they got to anticipate when that run is going to happen. And then the other point I'll make real quick, Eli, with the linemen. The first round of the draft, I will credit Nick Wilson on the Fan for mentioning this because I think it's a great point. The first round of the draft, that's when you want to draft a tackle. If you're going to go lineman, you draft a tackle, a natural tackle. I don't want the Browns to draft a guard. I don't want them to draft a right tackle and have them convert to a left tackle. You need a natural left tackle. And if you get them a little bit later, sure, but you got to get a natural left tackle. if you're looking to fill that need, Eli.
Well, Double A, I'll leave you with this. Andrew Berry did say a tackle is a tackle. A tackle is a tackle.
That I don't buy that. I mean,
I don't either. I
I know you don't. And there are certain mechanics at every level of football that only a left, like if you're filling a left tackle position, only a left tackle, somebody who's played that position knows the mechanics, knows the blocking schemes, knows the blocking assignments, and how to block at the left tackle position. If you're going to draft a right tackle, if you're going to draft a guard, or especially early in the draft, that's effing stupid. Because you can't convert them.
Yeah, you would think Andrew Berry would have learned from Jedrick Wills, but here we are.
I don't know. We'll see. Again, we got plenty to talk about with the draft throughout this week. And again, remember, Commissioner's Couch will be leading our draft coverage. That's Ryan Mosser and David Calhoun this Thursday night, 7:45 on the Inside Edge Network, digital platforms, Commissioner Couch, digital platforms. We'll have it for you here. You want smart analysis, you get it from right here on the Inside Edge Network. Well, after that little snafu on the commercials, I owed Eli some popcorn at BA Sweeties. Boy, I'm not even joking. I actually tested on the main event last night the Buffalo Ranch popcorn for the first time. Man, that popcorn slaps. Man, listen. Amazing. Man, and I'll probably, Oh, actually, I think I stole the cheddar cheese popcorn from Eli last time. So that's what Eli, I'll get you the cheddar popcorn. There you go. There you go from BA Sweeties. And you can get your buddy something from BA Sweeties, whether it's popcorn, whether it's jelly beans, whether it's, sweet candies or sour candies. It's all there. BA Sweeties. Interstate 480, the Ridge Road exit, make a left on Brook Park Road. You see a giant lollipop, and it smells fantastic. You see the address there, 6770 Brook Park Road in Cleveland. There's no construction, by the way, going onto Ridge Road. You can find your way out, but you're going to want to spend some time at BA Sweeties because it smells phenomenal. You get great ice cream there, too, and before you know it, it's going to be 80 degrees, and Golfland and Putt Putt will be open. It's going to be great. But take some time. Take your kids. Take your significant other. Take your mom. Take whoever. Take yourself to BA Sweeties. They're open 7 days a week. And as you're filling up that cart, let's say your cart is worth $40 or more, and you're filling it up. When you're at the checkout, mention the word lollipop. Mention the word lollipop. If you're at the checkout, you get $5 off of your order. If it's over $40, you get $5 off your order. It's in-store promotion only. Make sure you do that. Okay, we got Tim Alcorn coming up in just a little bit. We have the interview that we did with him last week. I think after the first two games of this series, a lot of what he said is very relevant to the conversation. So we'll talk about we'll play that for you coming up at 12:30. Up next, Dan Patrick dropped some news on who is scheduled to host the Super Bowl. We know some of the sites already. We got news on this particular site. I am worried that Cleveland may not get their dream Super Bowl ever. So if that's the case, should we have stayed in downtown on the lakefront? We'll see. We're back after this.
clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Bryan and Eli Moon. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Bryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com.
This is Midnight Run on the InsideEdge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
If you want another reason to give Ryan and his wife Holly a call for Mosser's Moments photography, they'll take better pictures than this. Now, listen, this right here, this was earlier today, over at 1,000 steps in 15 minutes, a new PR for me on the Stairmaster, and that's just sweat. That I look like somebody who just ate I look like a melted brownie who just ate like 3 gummies. That is that is work, ladies and gentlemen. Man. Listen, go ahead and get them gains. Whoo, man. Ain't nothing like prime. You want to know what prime time? Oh, yeah, happy 420. Even though it's 421 now, but some of y'all are celebrating right now. You want to know what real prime time is? 2 things. Number 1, InsideEdge Primetime. And then number 2, 5 o'clock on a Monday at the gym. That's prime time. You gotta show out. You want to get this. Look at that. That's real sexual chocolate right there. Roll the Dan Patrick clip. Let's go.
The 2030 Super Bowl, I was informed by a source on Saturday that it is signed and ready to go, in his opinion, that Nashville is getting the 2030 Super Bowl. I haven't seen any reports on this. And if there is a report on it, I'll acknowledge that. But this is what I was told on Saturday. Nashville is getting the 2030 Super Bowl. Vegas is getting the 2029 Super Bowl. 2027, Los Angeles, and then it's Atlanta 2028. But this is what I was told over the weekend. Nashville will get the 2030 Super Bowl. They got a new stadium coming in. That always helps.
Courtesy of Dan Patrick. That last point is important. They got a new stadium. That helps. So that should lock in Cleveland for a Super Bowl, right? Well, here's the problem. Within the next 5 years, maybe 6 years, there are 7 NFL teams that either are going to open new NFL stadiums or they are laid out proposals for new stadiums. 7 teams. And then the sites that Dan Patrick mentioned in that clip of teams who have already that are scheduled to host the Super Bowl. Los Angeles coming up this year. Las Vegas or Atlanta in the rotation. Las Vegas in 2029. And then Nashville in 2030. Other than Nashville, LA, Atlanta, Las Vegas, they have recently hosted Super Bowls. And if you include Miami or South Florida, maybe a site like Tampa, New Orleans, if you include those sites, the NFL has regular sites for Super Bowl rotation, like regularly. And then you add on to the fact, new stadium. I think Nashville, I've never been to Nashville before, but Nashville, I know in the South, Midwest, that's an entertainment destination for a lot of people. And I think Nashville is going to be, if they do hospitality well, they're going to be in regular rotation. But like Kansas City is opening up a new stadium, retractable roof. Chicago, whether it's in Metro Chicago or Northwest Indiana, they're going to have a new stadium. The NFL is going to want pieces there. DC, the Commanders, they're going to open up a new stadium. Big market. NFL is going to go there. Denver proposed. Now, I don't know if Denver will get a Super Bowl, but again, a market kind of like ours, a little bit bigger, Denver, right there. I think we missed the mark. And on tomorrow's show, I want to address, if I told you that the Browns are building a new stadium, but they'll never host the Super Bowl. Because if you got your 5 regulars and then a couple new sites, that's 7, 8 sites. That's 8 years. And then you run the rotation again. Remember, Detroit at Ford Field only hosted 1 Super Bowl back in 2006. So if I told you that the Cleveland Browns are opening a new stadium, but they'll never host the Super Bowl, would you still sign up for Berea? The Berea Stadium? Or you would have been cool with them trying to figure out downtown, the lakefront? Would you have been cool with that? We'll talk about that coming up on tomorrow's show. We'll get into that. But I don't feel confident at all about the Browns hosting the Super Bowl. How can you make a case? I hate to say it, but how can you make a case for Cleveland to get in on that Super Bowl rotation? It's going to be a hard sell. The one thing that Cleveland does have to their advantage, they better be working with David Gilbert. They better be working with the Greater Cleveland Sports Commission, because they have proven they can land big events, land all-star games, land, draft nights and stuff. So they have proven that. You work with David Gilbert, maybe you can get a Super Bowl, but it's going to be a really, really tough sell with the NFL. Anthony Alford here with you. This is Midnight Run. Eli Moon is my producer. So we'll hit that tomorrow on the show. We also got this Ariel Helwani clip we'll hit tomorrow talking about TKO. Of course, it's WrestleMania weekend, but TKO, they run WWE, they run the UFC, they run boxing, but they're making some critical mistakes and they're losing core fans in each of those markets: MMA, boxing, and pro wrestling. We'll talk about that, plus reaction to WrestleMania. Speaking of which, real quick, Kyle Cornell has Monday Night Raw reactions on the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast, YouTube. I'll have the NXT tomorrow night, and then we'll have the full pod coming up on Friday. It's so busy. It's hard to keep track, but you can keep track. You go to InsideEdgeNetwork.com and our socials at InsideEdgeNet across all the socials. I didn't even time it correctly there. TikTok, X, IG, YouTube, and Facebook. All there. All right. As we close the show, we're going to replay our interview from Tim Alcorn, radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers. We had a great conversation. Kudos to Eli for getting us jump-started and setting us up. But myself, Tim Alcorn, we had a great conversation previewing the Cavs playoffs. A lot of what he said in this interview is happening right now. You saw the Cavs utilize a 10-man rotation in the playoffs tonight. You're seeing the core 4 operating. And the core 4, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, James Harden, and Jared Allen, they only started 7 regular season games together heading into these playoffs. So let's play that for you right now. This is right here on these airwaves from our Cavs preview show just a few days ago. the radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tim Alcorn, joining me right here on the Inside Edge Network. I have something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good-smelling home, AlleyRoseFragrances.com will make it happen. Again, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, InsideEdge20 is the promo code. And we are so excited. Welcome on back. It is the Inside Edge Cavaliers postseason preview show. And the man right next to me, he is busy. Again, Anthony Alford here with you. And I have the radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers audioverse, Mr. Tim Alcorn. Of course, you can hear Tim Alcorn along with Jim Jones and, of course, Mike Snyder on the radio broadcast. Tim, welcome. I've been so used to hearing you and Jim Jones, and Jim announced he's going to be transitioning. I was not ready for that news. I'm going to be honest. I was not ready to hear that, but you guys have had an unbelievable partnership.
We have. Thanks, Anthony, first of all, for having me on. And now your fans can see why I do radio. This face is not meant for video, but I appreciate you having me on. And yeah, for Jim, that was a great way to start this. Thank you, because Jim and I have worked together. This is now our 7th year, and it's bittersweet for me. It's sweet in the fact that, man, I'm happy for Jim. He did this of his own accord. He's 76 years old, and I'm not giving away any secret there because Jim has mentioned that many, many times. And boy, you think about all the years that he's been involved with basketball, going back to his high school days. So now he's 76. So think about the amount of bus rides and the amount of hotels and plane rides. And so Jim just said, it's time. It's time to step out of the radio aspect. And as you mentioned, and I'm glad you did that as well, he's not retiring. So it's not Jim's retiring off to the sunset. He's still going to be very involved with the organization, including things audio-wise and video-wise. He's just stepping away from the radio aspect. So like I said, bittersweet for me. I'm happy for Jim. He has a wonderful family, a beautiful wife and a Loris, and 5 wonderful children, 2 daughters, the triplet sons, and now grandchildren. So it's going to allow him time to spend more time with that family and get off the road and get off those buses and hotels and plane rides. And so in that essence, I'm very happy for Jim. But as a broadcaster, as the play-by-play guy for the Cavaliers, not only is Jim a great color commentator and a great broadcast partner, he's a dear friend. We've developed a real close relationship. So it'll be sad not to have him sitting next to me, but I'm happy for him in his own life that he's able to do this and yet still remain very actively involved with the organization.
Tim, be a little selfish for 2 seconds. This is a very impossible question, but give me a favorite memory or two with you and Jim.
Well, that's a great question. And, there's several of them. But the one that really sticks out to me when people ask me about my relationship with Jim, the first couple of games that I did with the Cavaliers as the radio broadcaster, my predecessor was John Michael. And J. Mike's a great broadcaster, and he transitioned to the television side. But Jim had worked with J. Mike, they call him J. Mike, for all those years. And so the first couple of games, he kept calling me John or J. Mike. And again, it was just a natural thing. I wasn't offended by it. It didn't bother me. But the one game, Jim said, J. Mike, no, John, and he was like tripping over himself. Tim, and he started laughing. And I said, listen, everything's going to be just fine. Don't you worry about a thing, Campy. And he just busted up. He thought that was hilarious. And I knew from that moment on that Jim was cool with me and I was cool with Jim. And, like I said, this wonderful friendship and relationship has developed out of that. But, I called him Campy and he kind of looked at me and then he burst into laughter. And, it was cool from that point on. And, we've had so many memories and so many moments over the years. And one of the things is, listen, basketball is a long season. It's a marathon, and I'm sure we'll get into that. It's 82 games, and you've got a job to do, call the games and so forth, but you've got to have some fun with it as well. Again, it's a long season, so you want to keep the listeners entertained and so forth. And Jim and I just had some wonderful, humorous moments on the air where we could keep each other engaged and laughing and so forth. And as I said, on the bittersweet side, I will miss that because we've had some great times together on the air.
I will not share over the air. I guess I will, that I worked the board at WTAM when he made that joke, by the way.
So you remember that then? You remember that?
I remember that to a T. I'm like, this is amazing. But you guys are entertaining and phenomenal. And the fans know that too. And I have the privilege to tell you that personally. And we're going to enjoy your guys' call throughout the playoffs. And we hope that this is going to be a long playoff season for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And coming into the season, obviously, we talked about the core four, which included Darius Garland earlier in the season, and now the transition over to James Harden. I want to first, for anybody who might have been in and out of the Cavs season throughout, talk a little bit about what went down, what was like the team approach with going into that trade and transitioning from Darius Garland to James Harden.
Oh, Anthony, that's a great question because at the time, it still is a blockbuster. It shook the NBA world. And for the Cavaliers to make that deal, I think, number one, it showed that Kobe Altman and general manager Mike Gansey, they were putting all their chips in the table. They were saying, we're going for this right now. It was stunning when it was announced. But I think once you stepped back and kind of looked at all the aspects of it and that window of opportunity that they talk about for a team to win a championship, they're going for it right now. James Harden in his 17th year. This is now the 17th straight year he's made the playoffs. He's been able to stay healthy throughout his career. And I'll never have a negative word to say about DG. I love Darius Garland. He was such a dynamic, electrifying player for the Cavaliers. But I think the injury issue certainly was part of that deal. I think the Cavs in the win now championship mode now felt that James Harden was an upgrade over Darius Garland. And again, I don't mean that as a demeaning thing about DG. I just think they looked at James Harden, his Hall of Fame career already, 75th anniversary team, one of the all-time leaders in scoring, one of the all-time leaders in assists. So I think they looked at that, and DG had been battling through the injury this year and still hadn't quite gotten up to where he wanted to be and where the team wanted him to be as far as level of play. So the Cavs swung for the fences, and they made that deal. And I'll give Kobe Altman credit because when he did his Zoom press conference a day or two after the deal was made, he said, listen, 5 or 10 years from now, if James has retired and DG has gone on to this remarkable career with the Clippers, we may come out saying, well, we didn't win that trade. But I think if the Cavaliers short term get an Eastern Conference Finals or an NBA Finals or maybe a parade in June out of James Harden, then they're going to say we won the deal short term. So, it was a blockbuster deal. It was a huge deal. And James Harden, even though he had the fractured thumb, he stayed healthy, in his first 25 games here with the Cavaliers. They went 19-6 with James Harden since the since the trade with LA. So I think it has shown that it paid dividends. And you can't forget about Schroeder and Ellis for DeAndre Hunter. Now, unfortunately, DeAndre Hunter, I think, played one game with Sacramento before he got hurt. They got poked in the eye and they shut him down. The value of Schroeder and Ellis to this team, to the Cavalier team, has been on display game in and game out. So that was a real paradigm shifter. That trade deadline, when you picked up Schroeder, Ellis, and Harden, I think that catapulted the Cavs into the stretch run.
Now, Tim, once we start to see and transition into that second half of the season, I'm just thinking about the new core four, and it's amazing to me that they have only played, is this correct, 7 regular season games together?
Yes, that's correct.
There is no way that's a real stat. There's no way.
Well, you think about the fact that the Cavaliers, 82 games, have had 40 different starting lineups. So half of the games, you've had different starting lineups. And perhaps this is a flip the script from last year where you win 64 games. You go through the regular season for the most part injury-free, and then all hell breaks loose when you get to the playoffs and guys start dropping. Well, this year, hopefully, it's the opposite. You work through all the injuries and you battled through it and you persevered. And yeah, 52 wins, it seems like, well, that's a big drop from last year, but 52 wins with 40 different starting lineups. And again, acclimating new guys when you get them at the trade deadline. So I think Kenny Atkinson has done a marvelous job. And now you're healthy going into the playoffs. You're ready to go. Thomas Bryan has that calf strain. I think he would really be the only guy that's questionable right now, perhaps for Toronto. But everybody else, they're fully healthy. They're ready to go. So really, not that I'm the team spokesman, that there shouldn't be any excuses now. You're ready and raring to go. You fought through the injuries all season long.
Man, you know better than anybody else. That is phenomenal news to hear, the health and stuff. And now, and I wonder too how Kenny Atkinson, how he's going to work those rotations. Have you guys talked at all about the plan? You don't have to give away the particulars, but how Kenny Atkinson is approaching the rotation in the playoffs.
It's interesting you asked that, Anthony, because during Wednesday's practice, I was sitting with Mike Fratello, former Cavs head coach, and of course, a great broadcast analyst, and he was there taking in practice. And so we were sitting together and we talked about that exact thing, the depth of the Cavaliers. And of course, I'm picking Mike's brain. What about this? What about that? And, he coached in many playoff series. And I asked him, I said, you shorten that bench up a little bit. You want your 5 best players on the floor for as many minutes as they can give you in the playoffs. So that shortens the bench. I said, but you look at this Cavs team and it's a luxury. I mean, it's a nice problem to have that you've got so many guys that can come in off that bench. I mean, and let's say he, meaning Kenny Atkinson, let's say Kenny sticks with Wade in the starting lineup. I don't know that, but he seems to like that. But if you say, okay, he likes that lineup with Allen, Mobley, and Wade on the front line, well, then you have coming off the bench, Strus, Merrill, Tyson, Ellis, Schroeder. I mean, that's a 10-man rotation. Usually in the playoffs, you'll see 8, maybe 9. So that's what I was asking Mike about. He goes, well, that's Kenny's decision. But it shows you the depth. So those rotations and those lineup combinations, it could depend on the game. It could depend on the series. Maybe that rotation will be different for Toronto. Then let's say they beat Toronto and move on to face, everybody would think, Detroit. So maybe those get altered a little bit. I think it's going to be fascinating, but I think it's a great problem to have because of the 5 guys that I mentioned. All of them deserve to play. I mean, there isn't one of those that you go, he's kind of on the periphery. No, all those guys deserve to be out on the floor. They've earned those minutes.
Voice of the Cavaliers, radio voice, Tim Alcorn with us here on the Cavs preview show here on the Inside Edge Network. A couple more minutes with you. The Raptors, somebody's dropping in like, who are these Toronto Raptors? You know, we got to buy a Peacock subscription and Prime Video to watch this.
Anthony, just listen on the radio.
Yeah,
that's all you got to do.
It's free, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the Raptors in case people who have not watched them play much this year.
Well, first of all, I don't think a lot of people thought the Cavs were playing the Raptors. Boy, you went into that last day of the season and even really the weekend thinking it's going to be Atlanta. You know, we're going to play the Hawks, and it kind of had set itself up. And then, again, you never know. Atlanta, which I think is still befuddling to a lot of people, didn't play their frontline guys in Miami. So they get smoked by the Heat. And again, I'm not here to question Atlanta, but okay, you didn't play your regular guys. Toronto then takes care of the Nets, which everybody did expect. The wild card was Orlando and Boston. Everybody knew that Boston wasn't going to play their guys like Tatum and Brown and right on down the line. But Orlando needed the game, right? And then Boston beats Orlando. How about Luke Garza hitting a 3-ball to win that game for the Celtics? Like, really? And then so that catapults Toronto into that 5 spot. I mean, nobody saw that coming. But Toronto, to get to your question about, you know, the series, Toronto did beat the Cavs 3 times, all 3 times they met, but it was so early. The 3 games, I believe one was late October, and then the other 2 were in November. So you really can't put a lot of stock in those 3 games. Obviously, it was before Schroeder and Ellis and Harden had arrived with the Cavaliers. It was when the Cavaliers, even early in the season, were battling injuries. Max Strus missed the first 67 games, so he wasn't around. But it's a team that, number one, they want to play up-tempo, fast-paced basketball. They want to beat you down the floor. They're relentless defensively. Darko Rajakovic, their head coach, has really preached that from day one. And they bought in, to their credit. I mean, Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. They've got guys that will harass you defensively and then get out and break if they create a turnover or a missed shot. So that's, and certainly for the Cavaliers, defense is going to be the primary key in this series. You've got to get back defensively and obviously take care of the basketball against that defense that'll just swarm you as often as they can. So that's going to be a big key. I think for the Cavaliers, the other thing is just to their benefit is that Toronto is not a great 3-ball shooting team. And we've all seen the Cavs 3-ball defense. You know, it's been like a roller coaster at Cedar Point. I mean, it's just up and down. And you're like, some nights they can get out and defend the wing. And then some nights, like against the Memphis Grizzlies, you're giving up 29 3-balls. So you're like, okay. Now in that game, again, there were key defenders that weren't playing. And I think with Wade, with Tyson, with the guys that they can now put on the wing healthy defensively, I think that'll aid that. But Toronto's been in a playoff drought. This is the first time in 4 years that the Raptors have been in the playoffs. So for those young guys, they're going to get a taste of playoff basketball, and it's a whole different thing. Whereas this Cavalier team, and not just the veterans, you know, like the Schroeders and the Struces and those guys, even the Cavs' younger players, they are now used to playoff basketball. So intriguing matchup, but certainly, and usually the 4 versus 5 is a solid matchup. But I think the Cavaliers are positioned pretty well here.
And that's why I was just thinking, I'm like, man, I got to remind myself, because I'm being selfish. I'm like, man, you know, we have big goals. Of course, you're a Cavs fan, huge goals. And it's like, this is a 4-5 matchup. Like this, based solely on seeding, it could go to distance. But I think a lot of people would be upset if this series goes to distance, just to be blunt.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, historically, no, great point, Anthony. Historically, 4 versus 5. I mean, those are the 2 closest teams. And, you know, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7. Once in a while, you'll see an upset there, and even 3 versus 6. But 4 versus 5, that's usually a good series and a tough matchup. And I don't think the Cavs say, yeah, we're just going to roll Toronto. They realize that they're in for a battle. But I also think they feel now that they're healthy, again, now that this roster is healthy, they've got the deepest roster in the Eastern Conference, and Kenny can do a lot of manipulating as far as, does he go small on the floor? He can go big. On the floor. He can put shooters out there. So he's got a lot of flexibility. And man, when you have that going into a playoff series where you're not one-dimensional, that's a huge benefit. And the other thing, hope I'm not going too long here. The other thing
You're good. I love it.
This is a hungry, driven basketball team. Donovan said last year, as soon as the playoffs ended, it was either Game 5 post-game against Indiana, or maybe the next day in his exit conversation with the media. 82 games next year doesn't mean anything. It's all about playoffs next year. I mean, this team is driven to get past the second round, get into those Eastern Conference finals, and hopefully the NBA finals. So they're hungry, and they want this. You can sense it.
So I'll sneak in one final question. What needs to happen for the Cavs to break through and get to the conference finals? And we'll be selfish, win it all. Yeah,
well, first of all, when you look at the Cavs team, the most obvious thing, especially as we battled it all year long, is health. If this team can stay healthy, because that's what happened last year against Indiana. And again, I don't mean to take anything away from Indiana. I think if Halliburton doesn't get hurt in Game 7 against Oklahoma City, Indiana may have been the defending NBA champions. I mean, they were playing very well, and Halliburton had gotten them off to a great start in Game 7. Putting that aside, the injuries against the Pacers for the Cavaliers really hurt them. So you've got to stay healthy, number one. I think their defense has to be more consistent. You've got to make stops on a consistent basis. And then it's just those little things. The Cavaliers, they had some mental breakdowns last year, just on small things. You think, I mentioned Halliburton. Think about that 3-ball he hit off a missed free throw. You grab the rebound, you win the game. Maybe it's a different series. And, that's just a box out by maybe an inch or two, but that's a little thing. So, and I think the Cavs have learned from all of that. But defensively, I think they need to sharpen up. I think offensively, they're fine. I think with James Harden running things and Mitchell on one side and whether it's Strus or Mobley or Harden lobbing to Allen and Mobley, I think the offense will be fine. Stay healthy, tighten up the defense, and I think they're in good shape.
That's Tim Alcorn, the voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, the radio voice, and you can hear the games for free here locally on the Cavs Audioverse, WTAM 1100 here locally in Cleveland and across the Cavs Audioverse. Tim, thank you. I don't even know if you remember this, but I think about a year or two ago, I reached out to you for some business stuff in the middle of the summer, and you did not have to respond. It's the middle of the summer, and we were on the phone for an hour talking and stuff. And I am forever grateful for all of your help throughout the years, Tim.
Anthony, listen, all us media brethren, whether we're play-by-play guys, producers, podcasters, I think we should all have each other's back. And so I had a lot of people help me along the way, and I mean a lot. So if there's anything that I can ever do to help you or others in the industry, I'm going to do that. And so you want to reach out to me in June or July or August and say, hey, man, can I pick your brain for a half hour? I'm going to say absolutely yes. So congratulations to you. This is a wonderful platform. And again, anytime you want to chat Cavs basketball or NBA basketball, let's do it. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
No, thank you. And hopefully, if they go far, we're going to have you back on.
Okay.
Talking conference finals, NBA finals, even second round. We'll do it again. Tim, thank you very much.
Thanks, Anthony.